interact with him. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
And what about now? I'm going to be calling up. Let me see who's already ready for us. We have Bernard Mosetti from Care International. He's the head of partnerships at Care International. Please, do you care to tell us a little bit more about Care and what you do and why today's event is important for you here today?
Thank you so much, Antonio. Care exists in over 100 countries in the world. It began during the World War II, where we were sending care packages from, the impacts of World War II. But in the country, we have been in existence from 1968. We are working in various sectors, that is water, sanitation and health, humanitarian, agriculture and market systems, health equity and rights. We are also working on climate change and women economic empowerment. But why are we here today?
Yes.
Our programming is anchored at the heart of it on gender equality framework. And when you talk about gender equality framework, is placing at the center women and girls, because we believe without them then we will not achieve our vision and mission, which is to alleviating poverty in the world. But even more importantly is we believe by participating in this man cave, which is it's inaugural in nature, is that men listen to men, is that men listen to boys.
Yes.
And can we have a conversation in where we start talking about sexual and gender-based violence and how do we bring that to a stop.
I love it. Absolutely precise and concise. I love that. So reminder that you can also come and get to network and get to meet Care International. I love the story behind it from World War II till today. Finding solutions and solving solutions. So right about now we are gonna have another interview from so we're gonna have from the Aga Khan Hospital. We have Sam Mosheru from the Aga Khan Hospital, who's a senior instructor and from the Department of Family Medicine. First, Dr. Sam, you look like you are not a doctor. You look too young to be a doctor.
No, you'll be surprised that I've been in practice for the last 10 years.
For the last 10 years?
Yeah, so maybe it looks are deceiving.
Awesome. Looks are deceiving. You know, they say, don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't.
But it's also the same thing when it comes to family medicine, is
right.
that you cannot look at yourself and assume that because I'm fit, because I'm well, I'm okay. Why is it important for the men especially to begin their wealth journey with their health at the Aga Khan?
Yeah, Anthony, I want to say that men, we are pressed at every side and we tend to deprioritize health. We tend to trivialize health. We don't, go for health checkups and those kind of things. Yet health is the reason why we are here. If we were not here, if we were not healthy, if we were bedridden, we probably wouldn't be at this event. And so we cannot overemphasize the need for men to take care of their health. Yeah.
So give me a breakdown of 3 things that you feel, especially for today and sort of moving forward, that you feel are very important for us to be able to deal with.
Exactly. So at the Aga Khan University Hospital, we have many products that are tailor-made for men. One of them is wellness checks. So we do wellness checks for men, and we categorize men into younger men below the age of 40, middle-aged men between the age of 40 and 70 or 65, and then older men above the age of 65. And for each of these 3 groups, we have a wellness package that is tailored for them. Things that younger men are dealing may not be the same things that older men are dealing with.
Yes.
For example, prostate cancer may not be very relevant for younger men. It may be relevant for older men. And so we tailor-make that depending on the age of the men. Secondly is that we have a urology service, an extremely robust urology service. And in fact, I have to say, Anthony, that for the first time in Kenya, we had a successful penile prosthesis implant for a man who had a male sexual dysfunction. And there is a big prevalence of male sexual dysfunction, and our urologists are able to take care of this. And number 3, we have mental health. I think hardly a month goes by without us having the unfortunate stories of people committing suicide, even taking with them their families and their kids and whatnot. And so we have a robust mental health service for men that is tailor-made to take care of the stresses that come with manhood.
I love that. You're very intentional as the Aga Khan. And thank you so much, Dr. Sam Mosheru from the Aga Khan Hospital. He's a senior instructor at the Department of Family Medicine. What about now? We're going to have from PS Kenya, the project officer, Nairobi County. It is Israel Nzuki, who will be telling us about a very interesting kit that they have right here at the stall.
Hello, thank you, Anthony. So my name is Israel.
As in PS Kenya, we usually use the private sector techniques to make the health markets accessible to our consumers and also increase or just enhance behavior change. So today we have HIV self-testing kits at the event. This is just to know your status so that it's just an aim to improve the health of Kenyans, and also just a bit of some innovation also have to encourage or just to utilize the functionable and the sustainable systems we have. So we encourage men to know their status.
Yes.
Everything starts with the good health, even the touch points in which our panelists will be talking about in the event. You need to have good health, to know your health, and also just as a man to know or to be part of the support the government in making the health solutions.
I love that. It's all about knowing your HIV status, and the test kit goes for 500 bob.
Yeah, it goes for 500 to 600 depending on the kit type.
Yes.
We have the oral base, we have the blood base, and also encourage just self-care at large. We also have prevention measures and other self-care products, sexual reproductive health products. We have condoms, the lubricants.
I'm going to be giving away condoms today, Cindy.
Yeah,
awesome.
Everything is available.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that. So thank you so much, Israel. And now I'm going to be speaking to someone whose car I want to buy. Let me tell you, there's a Mercedes-Benz that I saw. That Mercedes-Benz. It goes for 1.75 million. I even know the price. It's ridiculous. I saw the inspection report. I am talking about the Mercedes-Benz from Peach Cars. It's and I'm going to be speaking to Michael Ogello. Well, I see you can hear, but see you. Ile black pile on your left, there's a nice Mercedes-Benz that I want there. That one. Yeah. Sorry, tumesema wanaume ni kuinuana huku. Guys, I have 1 million. I just need 7.5. 0.75. That one. That's the car that I want. So I have Michael Ogello from Peach Cars. He's the business development lead. And tell us why. Why do you feel it's important for Peach Cars to be here today at this man cave? Why should we also get your cars?
Thank you so much, Anto. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here to connect with men. Why we are here is because we know cars are very special to men. Yeah, every man refers to their cars, their baby.
Yeah, toys.
My baby today is spoiled. I need to take it to the garage.
Yes.
So that's why we are here, because we are largely in this industry of cars. So why Peach, as Anto was mentioning, when it comes to buying cars, with the space for used cars. And we know here in Kenya, when you're buying a used car, nobody tells you the details as is. Yeah, they'll tell you the car is ikosawa, you go with it. Then 1 week later, the suspension is down. The gearbox has an issue. So that's why for all our cars that we sell, we do our 200-point inspection, which gives you a detailed report. As you can see, it's here.
Yeah,
a detailed report on the condition of the car. So for the Mercedes that he likes, before he purchases it, he's get to see the issues that it may have that need immediate attention, and also how much it's going to cost him. So he knows what he's getting into when he's coming to buy a car. So we do all that for all our customers. You have a peace of mind that you're buying a car that is in very good condition. That's when it comes to buying. Also, we help people sell their cars. We know it's a hassle to sell your car in this town or in this country. So we take that hassle away from you, from managing the inspections, the viewings for you, and even getting serious buyers and offers for our customers. And our customers have two ways where they can be able to sell their cars. You can sell on our platform, that is what we call a passive seller, on our platform peachcars.co.ke, or you can sell also on our lot, plus our platform. So what is unique for us, because we want to make sure that you sell your car faster, right? So we do a lot in terms of doing the inspections to make sure that people who are coming to buy your car know the condition of what they're buying. Also, we do a lot of advertisements for sellers who are doing with us to make sure that their cars, they're getting as maximum eyeballs as possible. Including
coming to an event like this?
Yes, including coming to an event like this. For sellers who choose to sell on our lot, we'd bring their cars to such events. And at the end of the day, they'll be able to find serious buyers and serious offers from us. So that's what we do as Peach. And besides that, because we want to take our customers through a 360 journey, from when they buy their car to when they're maintaining it to when they're selling it. So we also know people want credible mechanics, people want credible technicians to look at their cars. So we introduced that service known as car care.
It's called Peach Care.
Which you've named.
I came up with the name. It's called Peach Care.
Peach Care right now. So we are able to maintain people's cars, repairs, do servicing, and also when you're ready to sell now, we're able to help you sell your car from the time that you bought it, you see. So taking you through that 360 journey. And then also, we also offer people options to trade in their cars. So if you have a car there that you'd like to trade in, you've gone to the Pitch website, you've seen a lovely car, you want to trade in, we also do trade-ins. And you're also invited to where we are. We are located in Lavington, along James Gishuru, next to Ebru TV. And also you can reach us online on all our handles. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and even LinkedIn at Pitchcars KE. Or you can follow us on our website at pitchcars.co.ke. When you get there, you'll get all the information that you need to know about Pitch Cars and why we're doing what we're doing in this industry.
Thank you very much, Mike. I'm going to plan for this Mercedes A180. Yes. I look good in it.
Yeah, very much.
I'm finally leaving Subaru land.
And you can see it's scored really well. Eh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing about that I liked here is the fact that, for example, you are honest and say that, for example, the fan belt will need a replacement, you know, or something like oil filter. We never get to hear or ever told about issues like this. People just tell you a car, it's great. It was owned by a lady before. In fact, it's, you know, she used to wash the car every time, and that's not the way to sell a car.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your time, Mike.
Yes.
Asante sana. So that is Mike Ogello from Pitch Cars. And right about now, we have from Karen Hospital, Dr. Tayo or Teo. Dr. Tayo Opankule. He's a doctor from Karen Hospital. And yeah, what are we talking about? And it's right around the corner from here. Tell us why it's important for men to begin their journey apart from Man Cave, but also at the Karen Hospital. And what services do you offer for men that you feel they need to take advantage of?
So the first thing I'd like to really talk about is our wellness clinic, because health is wealth. And it's not possible to live a fulfilling life if you're sick. And what the wellness clinic is all about is about going to the hospital when you're actually well, which is very different from going to the hospital when you're sick. Because what happens is when you do go to the hospital when you're well, we can find any diseases, or we can screen for diseases that are in their early stages. And when these illnesses are caught in their early stage, they're very, very easy to deal with. Yes.
But also when it comes to men don't love to go for wellness checks. I mean, it's just a cultural thing that is within us. Why do you feel the need for us to change that culture? And I know that's one of the reasons why you're here, but why is it important for us to really change that culture? Because we're out here looking for money, and like you're saying, you know, people want good cars, people want good lives, they want to travel, they want to eat well.
Yes.
But what's the point of all that if you do not know your health?
So one thing I find quite tragic is that men die a lot earlier than women. And there are multiple reasons for this, but one of the main reasons is that men have poorer health-seeking behavior, which is that when women begin to feel something unusual, they'll go to the hospital, they'll deal with it straight away. But with men, they might wait, they might think it will go away, they might think it's just something that's not so serious, when it actually could be serious.
And then it becomes more expensive because then you have to treat something greater.
Yes.
So today at the Karen Hospital stall, what should we expect from you? Do you have any checks that we can do while we're there?
So what I really wanted to promote is the wellness clinic.
So come get that wellness check.
Yes, there are multiple packages at the wellness clinic which have different comprehensive tests. But the main thing which I'd really encourage most men over the age of 40 is at least to have their prostate checked.
Awesome. Yes. On a light note, your name Opankule, what does it mean?
Could I use another one of my names to tell you what the meaning is?
So
my first name is Oluwatayo.
Oluwatayo. What does Oluwatayo mean?
So in Yoruba land, Oluwa is a prefix for God. And Tayo, when my grandmother named me, the idea was that God brought our family joy. God brought our family joy. You know, I always want to know the names of Yoruba men and women or Igbo, because I'm Kikuyu and I don't know what Mwangi means. We're just... I hope today we can do that issue, men here. The way we name our children. We just name them after grandfathers. Maybe that guy had some own issues and we don't know what those names mean. But thank you so much, Dr. Tayo. You're very welcome.
So right about now, we always see these adverts on TV. Those ones. And I never trust them, because when you tell you about plots and then you hear cases and you're like, What was that? So we have all the way from Username Investments Limited, we have Kenneth Moretti, who's the client relationship manager. He'll tell us why the basic foundation of a man needs to begin at the username. Kwanini username?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I would like to tell you,
yes,
I've realized that as men especially, tuko na ile tabia kutofanya the investments.
Yes.
And I would like to promise you today.
Yes.
Username is genuine. Username is offering something which is affordable. Username is offering something that is strategic. And username gives titles.
Okay,
so you have all the reasons.
So break for us what is affordable and strategic.
When it comes to land, and we say the thing to do with affordability, our products start as low as 300,000. And this 300,000 is inclusive of title transfer. And when I mean title, unajua bro, we mwenyewe, shamba ni title,
yes,
right? And the kind of titles that we normally give is freehold title deeds.
Yes.
So you can trust the process. In terms of location, we normally check on areas that either the big social amenities are coming there,
yes,
whereby you buy something today at 300,000,
yes,
in 3 or 5 years time, you'll be able to dispose that thing at not less than 500,000.
Okay, so give us an example here, for example, because for me the thing about plots and buying plots, it's such a big thing, especially in my community, that you really have to own a plot for you to be able to feel like you can take care of your family, you can take care of your home without someone knocking on your door asking you, you know, rent and whatever. So we have Nakuru Phase 5, where you've told us here that the price is all inclusive of stamp duty, legal fees, and title processing costs. So when we pay for that money, there's no other TO utatuambia baadaye hatuko tumekuambia kuko na 30k ya hii.
Not really. You can trust the process because we normally follow the legal procedures. We start with a free site visit, which we normally do every Wednesday and Saturday, as from 8:00 hours.
Yes.
If you're coming from Nairobi,
yes,
we take you at Kencom, and if you're coming from Nakuru, we always pick you at Westside Mall. So after viewing the site, we give you the option from whatever is available to choose ile plot unataka. After that, there is something we call an offer letter, which you normally fill. It's normally in soft copy, whereby tunakutumia link. You choose the kind of payment plan that you want. But we also have a flexible payment plan
of up to 12 months.
Up to 12 months. Username is there to make the process simple for you.
Yes.
Then after that, after you're done with your payments, we'll do the said agreement and the transfer. For the transfer, all I need is your KRA, a copy of your ID, and a passport picture. Kazi tu ni kukaa, username itakutumia message ikuulize, should you bring the title to you?
Yes.
Ama unataka kuja kwa ofisi zetu.
Bas, I love it. I love it. It's always nice seeing, I've seen some videos online, people smiling, holding their title deed. It gives them a lot of joy, and I definitely know that feeling. So make sure you go check out a Username. They've got an 8th acre plots that are going for 629,000. So please make sure you go check them out. And they are at Havana Estate, Nakuru Phase 5. Thank you so much, Mr. Moretti. What about now? I'm going to introduce all the way from ESR, that's Executive Super Rides, anaitwa Vincent Limo. I don't know if he's from marketing. Limo, sijui kama mnauza limo.
Yes.
You can't be called limo and you don't have limos. Do you guys have limos?
We do have.
Mercedes-Benz limos.
Yes.
Tuambie limo, why should we get cars from you guys? What is it about your cars that is different from any other company that we have here?
Okay, at ESR, we do sell brand new cars and selected used cars. So with
selected used cars.
Yes.
So not just any
not
used
just
car.
used cars.
Okay.
Selected used cars. Then we do have a 1-year warranty. Then we can do repairs if you have an issue. Then we can do trade-in. And another thing is we do asset finance.
Asset finance. Okay,
yes.
So break it down for us. When you say asset finance, what does it mean? What happens?
Okay. Let's say.
Do you work with a bank? Do you know what happens when somebody wants a car from you guys?
Okay, we do have an internal organization that deals with a loan. Then another thing, we can work with a bank. But now working with a bank, it depends on you.
Yes.
Yes. So you talk with your bank, then to finance you, we give you the unit.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's this car that is right here, right opposite me. It's the Mitsubishi Lancer, which I know a lot of men do love.
Yes.
How much does this car go for, and what type of a man is this car for? Like, is it a family man? Is it for town, you know, driving around the town, the city? Is it a luxury car? How would you describe New Zealand gari limo? Okay. I want to buy that car today.
For this car, so unajua hii gari sio gari ya familia, sio gari ya, ni gari ya maboys.
Ya maboys.
Unaelewa? So kama unataka hii gari, utajiuliza kwanza, nitakuuliza, do you have unataka kufinance aje?
The first question is, how do I want to finance the car?
Yes. So unataka kufinance aje?
Mimi niko na cash.
Cash.
I have money.
They pay 1.95.
Hey, you know, I had already asked for 700,000. So
700.
So I'll probably, I know, I don't want to plug these guys for free, but I'll probably go to our Nation Sacco. There's these guys from Nation, they're called Nation Sacco.
Yes.
Nimesave enough huko. So wanaweza ni pay your 900 ya juu, si ndio? So assuming now I have 1 million only, I need the 900,000. So are you going to give me the card? Do I work with it? What happens?
Okay, in our financing,
yeah,
internal one, then we'll give you a 50%. You give us your 50%.
Okay, okay.
So when we do that, then you can drive off the same day.
So I have the 1 million bob.
1 million bob.
That is in cash. I come to you, you give me financing 50% for the 900.
Yes.
I get it from, let's say, a Sacco, and then you give me the other 450, and I drive,
If it is financing, it is either us or your Sacco or your bank.
So it's either you,
us or the bank,
Sacco or the bank.
Yes.
I love that. I love that you've also been very, very clear about that.
Yes.
So this is Limo from ESR. That's Executive Super Rides. If you are a family person, you'd like, you know, a TX to drive around, even off-road kind of cars.
Off-road, family.
Unataka mtu anachukuliwa shule na gari mzuri.
Yes.
This is the place to be, sindio?
Yes.
Make sure you just look for Limo from ESR, and he'll definitely make sure he sorts you out. That Mercedes-Benz also Limo. Limo, now you need to convince me nisichukue gari ya pitch, so I don't know what you need to do. Just find a way, because now I'm stuck there in the middle. Hiya, so thank you so much, Limo.
Welcome.
So we have from wanaitwa Ask Homes. So if you want to ask about homes, then we've got the gentleman is called Jama, and he's the director and founder of Ask Homes. Yeah, it's fine. So from Ask Homes, so I think because I know a bit of Somali mafianta he.
One Fiana.
Fian. That means how are you doing? And then he said he's having a good day. So tell us about Ask Homes. Why Ask Homes?
So we're here at the Man Cave event. The most important thing for men is food, security, and shelter.
Yeah.
So what we're taking care of is that vital component of shelter. A man, you need to have somewhere to stay, somewhere for security, somewhere you can provide for your family. So our product at Ask Homes are 1 bedrooms in Rongai. We're selling at a fantastic price. And the thing that men need a lot is a place that's affordable. There's so many places you can buy when you see them. They're 3 million, they're 6 million, they're 8 million. We're doing 1 bedroom apartments in Rongai with great amenities that are going up in value at only 2.4 million.
And that's in Rongai, which is like
Rongai,
the epicenter of Nairobi, where everybody needs to be.
Yes, it's the fastest growing town, I believe, in Kenya. We're situated right on the main road. It's an 8-floor apartment block that's very modern, has great amenities. We have a flat roof with a gym, a study area, commercial washing machines. We have high-speed lifts, high-quality fittings and finishings. We have granite countertops, and we have a payment plan. We have a fantastic payment plan, and that price of 2.4, you can pop in. We have a showroom. Construction's ongoing right now. We'd love to have you pop in. And
is it 2.4 off plan, or is...
It's on plan. We're going to be done in the next 12 months by December of 2023. So you can see the construction currently ongoing. And
where can we check you on do you have a website?
Yes. So we're available on social platforms. You can go to Ask Homes KE on Instagram. You can also check out our website, Ask Homes Kenya. You can check us out on YouTube as well. So we're very visible, easy to get in contact with. You can call me 0705-222-022. and we'd love to get you a unit. And yeah, there's payment plans. Where's a lipa pole pole?
So finally, ask you about your relationship with Fernando Manyala. Why do you see it fit to work with the fastest man in Africa? And how does that relationship sort of work out for you?
Yes. So Ferdinand is an investor. He's bought some units because of the value.
You said some units.
He's bought some units. I don't want to disclose.
Money.
But he's bought some units. And we wanted to work with someone that embodies excellence. That's what we're trying to deliver. Being that this project is in Rongai, people sometimes Nagopa, Niembali, but we're situated on the main road, and we want to focus on Kenyan excellence. So you'll see with the units when you come, pop into our show house, high quality fit and finishings, high speed lifts, CCTVs, all the modern amenities, a gym on the roof, great views.
Awesome. I feel like, I've always said I'll never lived in Rongai because of that traffic. Now I have a reason, maybe. If I have a gym at the top and a pool and I can look at Rongai, maybe, just maybe, I can move to Rongai. So thank you so much, Jama.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. And we continue the conversation. We're going to have from Big Flex, we are going to have Salome, but she's not with us. But for you, a lot of men don't know how to shave. That's the thing about men. We don't know how to shave. We were never taught. We never saw our fathers shave it. It's like you're supposed to learn for yourself. So the thing about Big Flex, that it allows you to know how to shave, and you're taught how to shave from as early as you can be able to, and that's why you need to do that anyway in a very safe way, and that's through Big Flex. So please make sure you come through and check out Big Flex, and also get your hair cut just the way you like it. Hiya, so we're going to go for a small music break. Please make sure you keep the conversation going on social media. Is a hashtag. It's a man's affair. You can also follow it up over there so we can have more conversation going on. My name is Antonio Soul. I'm so proud to be here today. Let's go to the music. DJ John Falman, do your thing. Let's get it.
She got me feeling like the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Ooh yeah, strike a pose for the cameras. Cause we stadium status. Yeah, 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 yeah. And we the baddest team. Woo, woo, we the baddest team. Ah yeah. And we the baddest team. Woo, we the baddest team. Woo. Tell me where you beat there. Tell me where you beat there. Club going up, kings of the weekend. Solid gold chain over silk V-neck. First you get the money, then you get the respect. I be with the knock guy, living easy. Let's put the boy on, let's put teammate. Bought a sports car and some real estate. Now them niggas can't stand when they see me.
Shabacha let's ma bay. Bas katasi kafa ma K. Yes, my bansi bamba ma bay. Y'all still can't keep up with my pace. South in Tebele can't keep us down. And I wish you were there, must keep I got. My click get ahead, my figure glad. One chick in the bed, 5 skip us love. I got more, but you wouldn't want the truth. You headed to the top floor, I'm chilling on the roof. Handy to the goose, from the kitchen to the booth. Heavy with the youth, war ready with the proof. I don't want it all, I just want a bad fella. They never took calls, no they lost my bella. Took her to the mall, and design papella. Bandeba mangena, I reply with Mandela's Mandela.
Like baddest, yeah, on the planet, baby. Take a picture with the cameras, yeah. Cover stadium status, ooh, yes. Yeah, we are the baddest team, oh. We are the baddest team, oh. Yeah, yeah. We are the baddest team, oh.
What's it by now, what's the elevate? Ori mi kole yabanet. Our bad belly want to suffocate. With the guard doing the jellyfish. All I told be and nobody will get. Oh, I told be and nobody will get. But the told be and nobody will get. Nobody will get. Nobody will get. What's it by now? What's it by now? What's it by now? What's it by now? No, no, bitch. No, no, bitch. No, bitch. Yeah. What's it by now? What's the elevate? I'm the man. I'm the one that got the bigger man. Baby, oh, you're up there, but you're still a fan. Over popcorn in a bullion van. I'm a bad, yeah, if you're not the fan. I see I got your shoes, gonna see shoes. Wanna go bad and I'll go wish you. Bad house, so I want to fish you. But then it happened to boss, make I miss you. Busy in the morning, my bad DJ. My bad freaking what, my favorite play. I like the way you shake that the cape. Yeah, bump, bigger than bump it. Put it on me, I'm a malasso. Come up, I'll trade all the motion. I just wanna call you my ocean. Oh, the love will be a couple of ocean. But the car now, what the elevate. Oh, do you mean, go to have a net? I'm back, I want to suffocate. With the bad, with the jellyfish. All I do be, I'm a body with it. Oh, I do be, I'm a body with it. What I do be, I'm a body with it. Body with it.
I'm gonna winnie wanna your love they do me one time. Oh my, I'm gonna get for me. Show me how you feeling this night. Almost do your love, say now winnie wanna your love they do me this night. Yeah, I need your grace. Me never regret. My love no get shame. No matter the case. But my music give me bass. My sweet bass. So my love no get shame. For you all day. Every night,
DJ Joe.
every day.
DJ Jordan
call on me, close to me. Yeah. By the time when you wake up in the morning, man, I dey buy you side for me, make you fall for me. Oh yeah,
Now let it go, girlfriend. Bang and touch your toe, girlfriend. Now all my chicks everywhere, hands in the air. Show 'em, girlfriend. Yeah. Mommy on the dance floor, she shake for me. Okra, steamed fish, prepare for me. Introduce her to my mother down the country. No, make sure you never test me. 2 bunch chopper, roll up the sensi. Front door, me when it till it's empty. Selected them a play tune, I mean a MC. Oh no. Me say oh no. All of the gal in there, that's how if it goes up. Yeah. Mommy in my section, she get undressed for me. In case you don't know, everything blessed for me. Yeah. Goof buff, me tell like a boy carefully. Goof cough, they get to watch here for me. Shoot that, y'all put on your brassiere for me. Are you that? Now let it go, girlfriend. Bang and touch your toe, girlfriend. Now all my chicks everywhere, hands in the air. Show 'em, know, girlfriend.
Nicki Minaj booty, squeeze it. Better say your love stupid. Baby, she of a fat cool. Beyonce, big up Jay-Z. 10 gallon of my Benz is a sex UV. On the seat, make the bedroom sleep. Plug in my matic, fuck up on the street. Look out the window. Police dog, oh no. Who got the popo? That I no. Me soon know who would bleed. Load with the weed, me no care who see it. Bust up, which girl that, who she? Babes, yeah, forward.
Now let it go, girlfriend. Bang and touch your toe, girlfriend. Now all my chicks everywhere, hands in the air. Show 'em, know, girlfriend.
DJ Jordan Falme.
Ningekuwa msanii wa sanaa ya silaha, ningekuwa na jamii ya masadam kawa saba na mabunduki na makofia kabila. Bidhaa za kujijali tu hali mashauri. Sikiza sauti kutoka Kenya mpaka Saudi Arabia, majabu ya Musa Firauni. Huyu kijana nafanya vipusa wa tauni, wavue mashati mapanti ni kama wauni. Wenda wazimu na saa, sikiza hii story vizuri jamaa. Rap naifanyia chapa na mafans wanao nipenda jamaa. Sata ukinichukia siwezi jali hata. Kawe ni MC, stick to the wax. Unafaa kuweza kutumia hip hop na other tracks. Sikuchukia badhiju wanatawala industry, na we bado uko chini. Kabla jina yako igro jipe miaka kaa 8. Kalazman kutukane ndo ujulikane. Hip hop ni culture ya love, usisahau. Pole kukwambia sikuchuki na kudharau. Tuendelee ama tusiendelee? Tuendelee ama tusiendelee? Tuendelee ama tusiendelee?
Could it be my eyebrow race flow? Tell these naysayers China will take no. You know game change since water fever. Watching H in the
Need a fast, smooth shave? Introducing new Big Flex 2 with 2 flexible blades. For a smoother shave, easier to rinse.
1 cappuccino heavy on the foam. And for the ladies, I think you got all the foam you need.
New Big Flex 2 for a faster, smoother shave.
When choosing a career, it is important to consider your personality, abilities, and personal aspirations. This increases your chances of pursuing a career that is good fit for you.
Apply now and begin your journey to transformative leadership in your area of training, or simply log on to www.parkuniversity.ac.ke.
Park University, where leaders are made.
We asked Kenyan women to tell us what they look for in a lotion.
Leo tunaweka kwenye jaribio body lotion ya bei ghali na ya bei nafuu. Why pay more? Nunua Nice and Lovely body lotion. Ni bora zaidi kwa bei nafuu. Inai-transform dry skin kuwa deeply nourished na kui-smoothen.
It's just nicer and lovelier. Chagua Kenya's #1 body lotion.
Want to learn more on investing? Well, we have you covered. Join us on the 30th November 2022 from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Sarova Panafric, Nairobi, for an investor education conference under the theme Saving and Investing Right. Come, let's have a discourse and widen your palette on saving and investing. Register and partner with us for an opportunity to present your investment ideas, tools, products, and services to the attending patrons. For more information, contact Kate on 0721 758 909 or Boniface on 0724 596 333 or email bijalango@ke.nationmedia.com.
Need a fast, smooth shave? Introducing new Big Flex 2 with 2 flexible blades. For a smoother shave, easier to rinse.
1 cappuccino heavy on the foam. And for the ladies, I think you got all the foam you need.
New Big Flex 2 for a faster, smoother shave.
Stanbic Nakuru City Marathon came at the right time, and we feel that it has tremendous potential to become one of the biggest, if not the best, marathon in Kenya.
And we would, of course, want to see this marathon not just grow from just being a county marathon, but become a national marathon and ultimately an international marathon.
Last year, our numbers were 2,600. This year, we anticipate to have 5,000 runners.
Sports tourism is an important aspect for us here in Nakuru County. We aspire to become the county of choice for national and international athletes seeking a convenient training ground as well.
Naimiza wadogo wangu wajikase na wajitahidi ili wafike mahali mimi nimefika pia, na wawe na discipline ndio waweze kufika mahali hapa.
With as many goals as Argentina in qualifying, Ecuador's hoping to spring a few surprises on their return to the world stage. Christian Pulisic is relishing his time leading the USA. And we hear from a man with a foot in 2 World Cup camps, Samuel Eto'o.
New Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair. It's a huge game changer for me. The science is pretty amazing because it really goes deep inside the tooth and repairs tooth sensitivity. It's going to improve the quality of my life in a big way.
For over 30 years, he traversed the continent of Africa, capturing history as it unfolded.
The functions of the head of government are
In 1984, a civil war ravaged Ethiopia and famine hit the entire Horn of Africa. Mohamed Amin exposed the world's deadliest humanitarian crisis.
Mohammed forced a world to not be able to ignore this.
However, on November 23rd, 1996, Moore's star was dimmed.
The sun went dark. I started literally shaking.
Memories of Moore, this Sunday on NTV.
It's mixed feelings, but majorly excited.
It's a journey that has been years in the making. Yes, this week, Daring Abroad follows Victoria Kwamboka from Kisii to the US for further studies, courtesy of the Kenya Airlift Program.
As we all know, the US is the land of opportunities.
It's our joy seeing these young people's lives get transformed.
On our Back Home segment, the amazing uses of drones in many fields as Fahari Aviation ups its game in drone operations and training.
We offer trainings in photography, mapping, surveillance, infrastructure inspections.
Get EasyFX today, a secure and convenient platform that allows you to do your Forex requirements in real time. Buy and sell Forex at the touch of a button. Sign up for EasyFX today.
On this week's episode of The Best Of, Bride comes before the ball.
I'm still waiting for my invitation from them.
We highlight unique designs and stylish finishing.
We've won Wedding Dress Design of the Year, Best Gown Design of the Year a couple of times.
And we celebrate the vision and hard work of two amazing women.
One of my biggest projects was the Miss Universe 2019, where I dressed the participants, and I also got the privilege of dressing the finalists who went to the US.
It's going gown on The Best of Bridal Gown Services.
Who are this year's top 40 under 40 women winners? The innovators and disruptors in their various fields ranging from entrepreneurship, artistry, corporate, athletics, academic champions, and much more. Do you have what it takes? Or do you know someone deserving of the recognition? Submit your nomination on top40.bdafrica.com. Nominations close on 30th November 2022. Business Daily, more possibilities.
When you look at the climate change, particularly more specifically if you look at Kenya, it is actually devastating. Kenya is facing one of its worst drought in maybe more than 40 years. There are some places in Kenya which have not seen any rain for the past 4 years. We hear livestock has died. Up to 2.5 million animals have died. And you can imagine the number of families that have been affected by that situation. Particularly, the pastoral communities who depend on livestock for their livelihood. They are now totally, completely destitute. They have no means of supporting themselves. And that is why you are finding that the relief food, people have to be given relief food, otherwise they actually perish. I, Wilfred Kiboro, will be attending the Kusi Festival of Ideas 2022. See you there.
Kwanza mama Jane tako hapa. Hapana, hayuko, hajafika. Nini mbaya? Nimeingia juzi kwa nyumba ya mama Jane wakati ya lunch. Hata sikuwa nataka chakula yao. Nini ikafanyika? Kila mtu akatoka kwa meza mbio. Kula kwa sahani. Hata waongope tunawaangalia. Hata baba Janet vile ni mpole. Mpole gani? Yeye mwenyewe amebeba sufuria Bosema akajificha kwa choo na mchele. Mama Janet naye akaficha nyama chini ya pilo na supu. Ni uchoyo kiasi gani? Hebu niambie. Baba Janet sio mzuri. Aliniona akinunua chips ya mwitu. Alikibia hata karibu mguu inavunjika.
To get mushene ya chama, dial star 812 802 hash. Skiza, non-nation.
When you don't understand something about the realm of the spirit, it says you are alienated from it. And that is why the best thing that can happen to a child of God is to know and understand the things that open their hearts up.
learn more on investing? Well, we have you covered. Join us on the 30th November 2022 from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Sarova Panafric, Nairobi, for an investor education conference under the theme Saving and Investing Right. Come, let's have a discourse and widen your palette on saving and investing. Register and partner with us for an opportunity to present your investment ideas, tools, products, and services to the attending patrons. For more information, contact Kate on 0721 758 909 or Boniface on 0724 596 333 or email bjalango@ke.nationmedia.com.
It's mixed feelings, but majorly excited.
It's a journey that has been years in the making. Yes, this week, Daring Abroad follows Victoria Kwamboka from Kisii to the US for further studies, courtesy of the Kenya Airlift Program.
As we all know, the US is the land of opportunities.
It's our joy seeing these young people, lives get transformed.
On our Back Home segment, the amazing uses of drones in many fields as Fahari Aviation ups its game in drone operations and training.
We offer trainings in photography, mapping, surveillance, infrastructure inspections.
Get EasyFX today, a secure and convenient platform that allows you to do your Forex requirements in real time. Buy and sell Forex at the touch of a button. Sign up for EasyFX today.
So now he starts now talking to you 2018.
Yes, he had seen my story that was run by one of the media.
Yeah.
And he had to look for me through Facebook, because you know Facebook is where most people are.
Where people face each other.
They face each other.
Yes.
And he faced me.
Yes.
And I responded, blocked. Then we just continue, and he sees me every December during my birthday. I always have something to give back, and especially to the leaders. And he comes to my inbox, and the first thing he tells me, please don't block me. And now he tells me what he wanted. And he says, I'm sponsoring your birthday cake.
Thank you and welcome to Man Cave. It's a man's affair. My name is Antonio Sol, radio presenter Nation FM and TV presenter NTV. Thank you for tuning to NTV, where today it's all about a man's affair. We've got amazing men who are going to be speaking to us in a short while, but also in the audience we've got men of valor, men of integrity, and men who are on the up and up. For us to begin this amazing event, which is the inaugural event, I want to say first a big shout out to everyone who's made this event possible, and most especially from NMG, we want to say thank you. I'm going to introduce someone on stage who's the head of external affairs at NMG, someone whose relationship with a daughter that I have seen firsthand. He brought his daughter to my radio show, and I got to tell you, when I saw that relationship, I said, that's the kind of father that I want to be. So a lot of times, we just don't see our colleagues as fellow men, but also the men that we want to be. Please, a round of applause for Clifford Machoka, who's the head of external affairs, Nation Media Group. Round of applause, please.
Good afternoon. I was about to say ladies and gentlemen, but we still have some ladies. So let me start by saying good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies. Let me first take this opportunity to really welcome you and thank you, all of you, for making time this afternoon. I know all of us could have been in different places. We could have been either in the car wash or in the bar or just visiting each other. So it's great to see a lot of men who are here, and men who are interested in being able to drive critical conversations, networking, and at the end of the day, let's hope that we can get out of this place with something. Let me start, I think, with the obvious, that you know, Africans, one of the things that is very obvious to us is that we're very communal in nature. And you know, when we you know, many, many centuries ago, we'll have our women who farm, they cook, they build homes, they raise children together. And while all of us here used to go and hunt, we kept guard, we raided communities. And although that was way in the past, I think the nature of things have changed over time. There's still that need for a community to do life with, and is inherent with all of us. Women now have chamas, meet for brunch, organize girl trips, and while we likely most probably have a meal and a drink here and there to discuss the business opportunity. Spaces like this, the Man Cave, are however few and far between. I think we were just having a conversation with my colleagues and we're saying that it's very rare for us to have an opportunity for men to come together to talk about things that really matter in their lives. And Man Cave is here to be able to provide that opportunity and that content and also that platform that all of us need. And this afternoon, we hope that it enables us, each one of us here, to share, to network, and socialize over a great meal, great music, great vibes, and also great gentlemen who are in front of us here who will provide some really good thought leadership for all of us. This afternoon, we hope that you walk out of here having a great time, made new business connections, and learn a thing or two from those around you, and from the panel of men we shall be listening later on. We have an interesting lineup of men who have made it in different spaces. I'm looking forward to hearing from the likes of the Champ, who were just having a meal with him. And I think he's a young person. He's providing a lot of mentorship. We also have our Wazes here. We also have our middle-aged gentlemen. And I think there is great opportunity for us to utilize this thought leadership and to utilize the wise words that we'll get here to just being able to move forward. I think I've been a great beneficiary of Simon here and what he does with men, and hopefully that the wise words that he gives us will actually be able to drive us to a different direction. Today here, I think as men, we know that the challenge we face is we face a lot of challenges. The biggest challenge that we face as men is we don't talk to each other. And Man Cave will provide that opportunity for us to start talking to each other. We were just talking to one of us here who was telling us last week one of his good friends just committed suicide. And he had just made a call to a colleague or to a friend to tell him, can we talk? And the friend said, I'll come tomorrow. And that night, he took away his life. And I think this opportunity here is an opportunity for us to be able to ventilate, air our challenges, but also create great communities amongst each other. Many of us don't know each other here, and hopefully by the evening when we're walking out, we'll know each other, we'll know the kind of business we do. We'll also be able to share honestly about the challenges that we face. And at the end of it all, we'll come out of here better men, men of integrity, men of valor, and at the same time, men who can be able to take a different direction in their lives. So my role here is to first, on behalf of the group CEO, to apologize that he's not able to make it today. He actually had to travel out of town. Please receive his greetings. He very much would have loved to be here, and I'm sure in the next Man Cave he will join us. With all these few remarks, it's an opportunity to welcome all of you again. Asanteni sana for coming. God bless you, and looking forward to a fantastic evening and a fantastic afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Clifford. I don't know why when Clifford said the middle-aged men, Mark Masai was not, you're not in that category anymore. Just accept and move on. It is fine. I'm about to call the keynote speaker, who, by the way, if you're a musician or know any musicians, he's played a huge role in who we are today. As a musical pioneer, his groundbreaking achievements have created a path for many of our leading artists. His participation at the national level at times of crisis and conflict have been timely. His input has been noteworthy in organizing events to bring closure after the August 7th bombing, or efforts in co-founding Wakenya Pamoja to bring an end to hostilities hostilities after the 2007 post-election violence. An accomplished spiritual leader, author, broadcaster, and multiple award-winning entertainment veteran who brings over 30 years of experience to the table. He's married to his wife of 25 years, Christine, and together they have 2 adult daughters. Please help me in welcoming the legendary Dr. Pete Odera.
You know, sometimes you listen to those introductions, you wonder, are they introducing me or somebody else? Thank you so much, Antonio. So we've come a long way. So I won't bring your X-Files because you didn't bring mine. So I won't bring your X-Files. Thank you so much, gentlemen, and the few ladies who are hanging around to eavesdrop on our conversation. I want to acknowledge those of us who came with their mentees. I came with one. I wanted to come with those that I mentor. I know some of us would have liked it, but I did come with a young man who just started university. I met him not too long ago, and we were walking with him. I have a program. It's called the Ixos Synergies, Ixos Institute, and through it, we're doing mentorship programs. And so the young man is sitting here in a space that I wish I was sitting in 25 years ago or 30 years ago when I started my journey. This year I'm doing something interesting. I'm calling it The Reconstruction of Pete Odera. It's a documentary, it's a book that I'm writing, it's a concert, and it's an album that I'm recording. I wear many hats, so that's one of them. And from that idea, I want to bring some thoughts, and I'll be talking to us today about reconstructing manhood. There's a lot of things that we've been told that manhood is, but allow me today to venture to bring some ideas that tell us that we need to reconstruct our idea of manhood. Allow me to start by saying this. You know, men have been socialized. We're socialized in 3 ways, by 3 things. Number one, we're socialized by our physical ability, so that people look to us because of what we can do physically, our strength, our capacity to either run fast, hit hard, or carry heavy things, and so on. So when somebody says you're a man, they expect you to be physically strong. We're socialized in another way where people expect when you're a man to be financially capable. So they look to us as men for financial capability. And then the third way that we're socialized as modern men is through our sexual prowess. And I dare say this from when we're very young. In high school, I remember the many stories that the guys used. I don't know if you were in high school, like me, I went to boarding school. And they tell you all these, some were real, some were very fake stories about what they did over the holidays. This was our introduction to what manhood really was, that if you're a real man, this is how you behave with women. But what happens, because now I'm 53, what happens when these things fall short or fall apart altogether? What happens? We as men, we've been told what to do. I just ventured this as well. We've been told what to do since we're little boys by women. Women, if it wasn't your mother, then it was a teacher who was 70% more likely to be a woman than anything else, you know. And now it's a wife or a partner telling us what to do. And if things fall apart in any of those areas that are aforementioned, it is these women who then become the victims of the fallout. And so many women have come to my office, and more likely than not, 3 out of 4 women who've come to the counseling space where I sit sometimes have come to me. 3 out of 4 of them are women. But 8 times out of 10, they're complaining because of a man. So as far as the women are concerned, we're not doing okay. And from my perspective, you know, just from the story that's just gone before, we're not doing okay. But let me ask a few questions. Why are we not doing okay financially? And the truth is, we're not doing that well financially. In fact, the Kenya Bureau of Statistics, before COVID, came out with a statistic that said only 7% of Kenya's workforce earn over 100,000 shillings. I'm going to say that again. Only 7%, hear me well, only 7% of our workforce earns more than 100,000 Kenya shillings a month. That's not me who invented that. That's the Kenya Bureau of Statistics. That means less than 1 out of every 10 people earns over 100K. So most of what we see out there is really just posing. Let that sink in for a little bit, because I know some of us, our bank balance says something different. Most of us, what you see on Instagram, what you see on social media, what you see is really just posing. We don't really earn that much. That's what the Kenya... So you don't scare me. That's what I tell people when I'm talking about. You don't scare me because I know your bank balance. Why are we not doing okay financially? I was house hunting in one of our leafy suburbs before we moved. My wife and I and our family moved out of Nairobi. And the guard at the gate said this to me, and I need you to hear this carefully. He said to me, he said, hii nyumba inahitaji mwanaume. And so I started thinking, so sisi wengine ni wanawake ama ni watoto? You know, what does he mean? But you can see that that idea isn't just in the high and mighty, it's right with the guards. And they're saying wanaume are at that level. A valid question begins to arise out of this, what I call fake rat race. Are you really a man if you don't earn over 100K? Can I ask that again? Are you really a man if you don't earn more than 100K? Can I move a little further? Why are we not doing okay physically? What about my physical capacity? I'm going to be a little bit transparent as well. Men, gentlemen, are more likely to die from car accidents, from heart attacks. You're more likely to die younger than your partner. In fact, some statistics say 10 years before our partners. Before our partners. COVID, over the last 3 years, didn't just reveal the stress lines, it added more. So let me be a little bit transparent. I'm 53 now, in my 53 years, I'd never been admitted in hospital, not once. Not admitted, I lived a pretty healthy life and so on. But this year, 2022, imenionyesha mambo. And I found myself going in and out of hospital several times to deal with physical illness for most of the year. Including, but not limited to, nearly dying from COVID. And I know my brother Robert will feel what I'm saying. So the question started to linger, and I'm sure if you talk to anybody who was at that space, will tell you, am I dying? And the answer to that was really, I literally was. I literally was dying. But here's the question that arises out of that. If I'm not strong physically, am I worth anything really as a man? Will she still count me as a man when I can't do what I do as a man? And now we've seen women hitting the gym, and hitting the gym hard. Sometimes, and in some cases, literally. They literally hit the gym. And they're so tough that some of us are even afraid of them. So women don't need us as much physically. Can I press this a little further? Why are we not doing okay sexually? Stress and illness affects libido. So your capacity to perform in the bedroom is affected once COVID comes in, once financial things come in. Stress is making you less and less and less capable to excite your partner. And then what? And so now in the era that we're in, our partners are frustrated because we are frustrated. Can I be honest? They're frustrated because we are frustrated. And in the era of sexual liberalism, women are more sexually aggressive now and are picking up sex toys and are being sexually adventurous. And we begin to ask questions. So now the modern woman, they don't even need us in the bedroom? Modernity, hear what I'm saying, brothers. Modernity has defined these roles that just 50 years ago, these things were very clear. And nobody told us that things had changed. Nobody came and gave us a speech to say, well, you know, 50 years ago, son, this is what used to happen. But now those things have changed. I don't know anybody, and I dare anybody to raise their hand, if their father taught them how to change diapers. Your father called you one day and said, son, I need to show you a skill that you're going to need in life. You're going to need to change diapers. Nobody taught us that. Hardly anybody told you that not only would your boss be a tough woman, they didn't tell you she would live with you in your house and earn more than you. So we aren't earning the so-called man's salary. So they don't need us financially. They have their own money. They have their own things. As my brother so expertly put, they have their chamas, their girls' weekends, they have their things. They live life. They don't need us physically or even sexually. And now, in this extremely transactional world, if you don't seem to bring value to the table, you will be discarded. Does that make you any less a man? These are the questions I want us to be looking at as we seek from the panel. Why do we have to be, and this is the question I'm asking us to the panel, why do we have to be defined by what we have and what we do rather than who we really are? We must begin to uncover our true identity, Forget this fake posturing that we do. Our God-given intrinsic identity. Not just for what we can do or what we can give. Brothers, who were you before your teachers called you something else? Brothers, who were you before the woman or women in your life called you something else? Brothers, who were you before your peers called you something else? Who were you before your bank balance called you something else? My hope is that by converging and conversing, that we can evolve our understanding, sort of reconstruct our understanding of manhood from being merely utilitarian to a more meaningful understanding. So what should our reconstruction conversation be? There's a joke going around that, you know, men can call each other chief, boss, msee, jemedari, chief, and never know that person's name for 2 years. We're going to go beyond that today. Let me suggest 3 things before I sit down about our reconstruction conversation this afternoon. Our reconstruction conversation must be meaningful. And meaning is derived from identity and purpose. We must be willing to uncover purpose. And I'm so glad that the erstwhile writer of several books on the matter, Simon Bevy, is here, and maybe he can help us begin to identify what purpose is for men. Our reconstruction conversation must be intentional. We can't just be hanging out to watch World Cup endlessly as an escape for whatever or from whoever, because World Cup itaisha. Alafu tutadu. When the World Cup is over, what are we going to do? We must build each other, gentlemen. We must affirm each other. And we must hold each other accountable. We must bring that back. And lastly, our reconstruction conversation must be generational. Let me explain. We must reconstruct and redefine manhood, if not just for ourselves, then for our sons. Otherwise, our sons will live in a more hostile, a more broken, and a more unforgiving world than we do. Gentlemen, let's reconstruct the definition of manhood. Thank you.
Please, another round of applause for Dr. Peter Odera. That was beautiful. We can easily call this the year of reconstruction. So hopefully in the next quarter or the next 1 year, when we get to meet again, we'll see how we've reconstructed ourselves. It's such a great honor to be here today. Before we begin our panel discussion, I'm going to call up from Peach Cars, So when you guys were buying your tickets, you didn't know that we had a surprise, or you couldn't know that we actually had a surprise for some of you here. So we're going to be awarding 5,000 bob to 16 people. Each will receive 5,000 Kenya shillings worth of service voucher from Peach Cars. And these are the 16 people who bought their tickets first. So I'm going to call up on stage Laban Chege, if he's, yes please. So he's going to read 8 names, and then we'll award these vouchers to you later. So if you hear your name, just know you've got a ticket for you. Laban, please help me award the first 8. Just say their names and don't say the number, just the name.
Good evening. My name is Laban, as you have heard, from Peach Cars. So the first person we have here is Edwin Gititu. Edwin Gititu. Timothy Dombi.
If you're here, run to the right,
yeah. George, just one name.
George with the last number.
George, mobile, the last number is 535. William Shompole. Charles Ndungu. Lundenyo Wangia. Lundenyo Wangia. Melvin Mugri.
So we're going to have a photo op with Laban from Peach Cars. Samuel Mburu, if you're here, please make your way to the front so we can have a nice photo op for you guys. You all receive 5,000 bob voucher. I think unaweza call now. You can be giving them the vouchers. We also have Karanu Waweru, if you're here, Karanu. There's also Victor Okoth. If you are around, there's Cecile Okinyi. Please make your way. Michael Ndiangui, if you're here, please. There's also Smith Muya, if you're here. Mnaweza kuja hapa mbele hivi. Yeah, so you can take your... So Laban, you're the one who stand. Laban, African Serem, unasimama hapo. Unasalimia mtu na mkono, unasimama hapo. So just go as you pick yours. There's also, just go to him. There's also Caleb Mbaluka. Caleb Mbaluka. There's Eric Mogo. And last but not least, Brian Mahehu. But Laban, I want to know if these people don't have cars. See, this 5,000 bob can also go as your initial payment for a car. Hopefully one day they'll come and fill the other one. So please walk up. Let's just have all of us stand here for photo op, and then you'll receive your cards later from Laban. But iyo mufikirie iyo ama, yeah. Please, round of applause for these gentlemen who are the first 16 to buy tickets for Man Cave. They're the Super 16. Mwonekane kwa TV kidogo. I know Dr. Victor Odera will address the issue of men having to lie where they are. When they are really, sometimes they really just want a break. Hata naogopa kusema ako Man Cave. So it's like, oh, so you went for that thing now. That's why they're telling you to talk to me like this. Utaenda kwa home, utaishi na Omanyala. Utaishi na Omanyala. Ndakukimbiza kukumuliko. So Laban, let's, I know we said African, but we can do it. We can do it, Tuko. So we're going to start our panel discussion with also a man that I really, really also highly revere. He is one of the kindest people to work with at Nation Media Group. He is such an icon of kindness and of manhood. A round of applause, please, for our senior anchor, Mark Masai.
I see you if you're not clapping. I'll come to you.
Clap, clap, clap. And DJ John Falme on the ones and twos.
Yes, sir. A hand for DJ John Falme, one of the hardest working DJs. And also, he's about to take over the airwaves literally as a captain very soon. Mad respect to your hustle, man. Really, and that's something else we'll be able to talk to in a bit. He'll be playing something here as I ask for a call and a clarion call and response from you gentlemen. But first things first, let's put things into context. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you as well to the ladies who are eavesdropping. I'd like to say hi to my wife who's watching. She made sure I know that she's watching because she pointed out that Clifford Machoka is wearing the exact same shirt. It's quite a compliment, Clifford, that you dress like me. I know you look up to me, sir. So yes, there you go. There you go to my wife. Sijui nimwite mama ya watoto wetu wawili. But anyway, let's start things where we should. My name is Abdullahi Masai. That's right, Abdullahi Masai. Most of you who are tuning into NTV or probably here know me as Mark Masai. But that really isn't my birth name. And there is a lot about me that you do not know. And I believe I speak for many here when I say there's a lot that people don't know about you. We put on a face, a facade, to make things look like we're in control. And by the nature of my job, to be honest, I come on screen, I'm expected to look like I know what's going on, or at least things are under control. Well, most of the time, I'm probably taking orders from Arnold, my director, and probably clueless. And I'm told to come on with a smile and say hi, dress the nation, when I probably would rather be in my privacy and in a space of reflection. I like that a lot. But I do what I do because a man's got to do what a man's got to do. And to be honest, gentlemen, those who are congregated here, yes, you probably have a nice car parked at the parking lot. You have a nice name or title attached to your name, and you get a lot of attention for what you do or who you are, what you've acquired. But you feel in many ways that life isn't really what you thought it is or was meant to be, or at least what you expected when you were a boy coming up to be a man. And I guess there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that we really have lost direction in some point, or even that we don't want to wake up and leave the bed at some point. That's the truth. Sometimes probably what gets me out of bed is my daughter, Nashipai, or my son, Lemayan, when they're making noise outside, and I'm like, yeah, I want to go play with them. Let's be honest. And it doesn't mean that things are going bad at the corporate sector or you're not revered or respected. Sometimes you just don't want to get up. But the show has to go on. And ladies and gentlemen, we may not have all the answers, can't fix everything, much as it is expected of us in the corporate, family, and even societal front. But we can start somewhere when we feel that we are stuck. And I feel that the Man Cave is quite a fine place to start this conversation, the men's affair, where we will be getting real. So let me take it from the top. I am a man, a husband, a father, a friend. Really, just a man. Who are you? So let me introduce based on what I have Googled and seen online about the respected men here. You've already heard from our keynote speaker who's actually decided to join us on the panel. Nameless is making his way here. He's joining us in a bit, Dr. Pete Odera. But I'd like to introduce Robert Burale, who's next to Dr. Pete Odera. He calls himself the coach, founder of The Naked Truth, minister of the gospel, mentor, thought leader, clearly Msewaluku, by the look of things. We have next to him the youngest, I believe, on the panel, Ferdinand Omanyala, athlete, Olympian, African record holder, 100 meters. African or Commonwealth 100 meters champion 2022. Gents, this is one of the few men who are celebrated, given a medal for finishing in less than 10 seconds. If you know, you know. And he has a gold medal to that name.
The fastest Mark Masai in Africa.
I guess when the ambassador wa mapema ndio best.
Imagine.
Dr. Edward Mungai, he's also a marathoner. I think wanakaa pamoja. He goes the long routes. He's a marathoner, evangelist, inspired leadership founder, philanthropist, sustainability and leadership expert. And next to him is a man I regard as my father, since I don't know my father by name. If I knew by wealth, I'd really pursue. And if you're watching, sir, nitafute mse. Niko na watoi wawili na education is not cheap. So, sir, with all due respect, nitafute tuongee. But this is a man who's been a father to many, Simon Bevy, amongst them myself. And I'd like to appreciate and applaud him. Dr. Simon Bevy is the director of Transform Nation, faith-based non-profit organization set up in 2010 to address issues of masculinity in family, church, marketplace, and to see responsible and dignified nations. Thank you for what you do, gentlemen, and for joining us this evening. Nameless will be coming in style and in fashion, will be joining us. Ataimba song sababu amechelewa, sio? Aimbe Megaraida magani? Tutamwambia, wacha tutamwambia akifika. Gentlemen, I've described you based on what anyone here can see online on your platform. I want you to introduce the man not many people know. And I'll start with the man I respect. I respect all you men, by the way. Nile tu. Bevy amenipitisha mali wengi hawajanipitisha in life through the Man Enough group and initiative. I'll start with you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Good to see you, gentlemen. Most people don't know that I'm number 8 out of 10 in my father's family. Really 8 out of 20. 18 out of 20. So my father believed in numbers. But secondly, I am married to Sophia. We have 3 children, 2 daughters and 1 son. My firstborn daughter just graduated a few weeks ago. She's 21. And besides that, I'm just excited about life and really about walking with men and seeing men become what they need to become.
Dr. Mungai.
Good evening to you all. As you heard, my name is Dr. Edward Mungai, married to Anne with 4 children, age 26 to age 9. And a lot of my friends say I have teenagers all my life, and it's true. Because every time I pass one, I get another teenager. I work at Strathmore. I'm a consultant on areas of sustainability, and I like inspiring people and for people to live life of being deliberate. Thank you.
Msewa mapema ndio best.
Good evening, guys. Mapema ndio best bana majama. My name is Fernando Manyala. What people don't know about me, I'm a chemistry student at University of Nairobi, Chiromo campus. So I try to balance everything out, and I'm also married to Laventa, and we have 1 son, Quinton. I really hope that he grows to be an athlete. Yeah, and one of the things that I love the most is to inspire the generations, and what drives me the most is to leave a legacy. I want to leave a legacy in this country that people live on and ride on it in future. So it's my dream that we have every year producing a sprinter in this country.
Well then, Burale.
Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Amen.
Praise the name of the Lord. Robert Burale is my name. I'm just a man who really is here by the amazing grace of God. And my life's purpose is to use my scars to heal other people. Because what God delivers you from, He gives you grace for. So it's to make sure by the time we are checking out of this world, you have died empty, as Dr. Miles Monroe says. So my work here on earth, I believe, is my purpose, is through pain, give other people joy. Through a season of dryness, give other people abundance. So show your scars and make stars out of your scars.
All right, he rhymes as well. Dr. Pete, something people don't know.
I don't know if I've lived my life fairly for the last almost over 30 years in public. As a musician, as a minister of the gospel, as a teacher, as a leader. But I've been married this year 25 years. It'll be 25 this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand for that. Kama umepita 25 usipige makofi.
To the same woman. and it's a joy and honor to be here with my brothers. I like to say that I was gifted to capture culture and explain it and express it to our generation. That's really the gifting that I have, the things that I've been asked to do. But my kids call me Dad. They call me Dad. The two girls, both of them are, one just moved out of home, the other one is going to university soon. Last born is 20. I only have women in my house, so I am in a way pampered. They're tough women. But I'm glad to be among brothers who we can inspire and aspire together.
Thank you for that. Ladies, I'm a gentleman. That's why I had to say ladies and gentlemen. But gentlemen, sorry. This is also going live on TV, and we're running with a schedule. So I have to take a quick break at this point, at which DJ Joe Mfalme will give us a bit of entertainment as you probably get your drink or something to bite. And then we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Arnold will tell me how many minutes. My director, he will let me know. I think it's 2.5 minutes. We'll be back to start the conversation. And I know everybody has been asking, msee anajitanga DJ Joe Mfalme. Mfalme wa wapi? Jina yake ID ni gani? Ambia wase.
Joseph Mwenda Munoru from Meru County.
Abazasa, respect for the hustle, man. This man is one of the hardest working DJs I know, going by his schedule if you look at his socials, and he hasn't paid me for that. Is there something he wants us to play? And I want first to start with the rehearsal. And this is something I learned from Man Enough. Man in the building, let me hear you say Haul. Let's go at the count of 3. Man in the building, 1, 2, 3. Haul. Man in the building, Haul. This is probably how it's supposed to sound. Give him a sound love to kwa mziki as we take a break.
What is your profession?
We'll do take 2 after the break. Aya basi, tupe mziki kidogo and then we'll be back shortly.
But I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time, cause someone call a referee.
Need a fast, smooth shave? Introducing new Big Flex 2 with 2 flexible blades. For a smoother shave, easier to rinse.
1 cappuccino heavy on the foam. And for the lady,
I think you got all the foam you need.
New Big Flex 2 for a faster, smoother shave.
Bahia. Imperfections, blackheads. Try Garnier's Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, powered by salicylic acid and purified charcoal to reduce pimple-causing germs by 99.5%. 1 product, 3 uses for a pure skin. Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, #1 in South Africa, by Garnier Naturally.
My skin is my identity, my strength. It's unique and deserves care made specially for me. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. With 5 oils and 5 vitamins. 48-hour nourishment. Helps reduce appearance of stretch marks in just 2 weeks. New Nivea Radiant and Beauty Advanced Care. For your shade of beautiful.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Imperfections, blackheads. Try Garnier's Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, powered by salicylic acid and purified charcoal to reduce pimple-causing germs by 99.5%. 1 product, 3 uses for a pure skin. Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, #1 in South Africa, by Garnier Naturally.
It's mixed feelings, but majorly excited.
It's a journey that has been years in the making. Yes, this week, Daring Abroad follows Victoria Kwamboka from Kisii to the US for further studies, courtesy of the Kenya Airlift Program.
As we all know, the US is the land of opportunities.
It's our joy seeing these young people, lives get transformed.
On our Back Home segment, the amazing uses of drones in many fields as Fahari Aviation ups its game in drone operations and training.
We offer trainings in photography, mapping, surveillance, infrastructure inspections.
Get EasyFX today, a secure and convenient platform that allows you to do your Forex requirements in real time. Buy and sell Forex at the touch of a button. Sign up for EasyFX today.
Imperfections, blackheads. Try Garnier's Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, powered by salicylic acid and purified charcoal to reduce pimple-causing germs by 99.5%. One product, 3 uses for a pure skin. Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, #1 in South Africa, by Garnier Naturally.
Nivea Pearl Beauty Deodorant. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
Imperfections, blackheads. Try Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, powered by salicylic acid and purified charcoal to reduce pimple-causing germs by 99.5%. One product, 3 uses for a pure skin. Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, #1 in South Africa, by Garnier Naturally.
This is NTV.
Be real. Kama kuna msee hapa kuna deni yako ya do, sema. But tutasema after tumetoka hewani. But yes, we're getting back in the next few, so we're going back on air. Just as soon as we do, and Nameless is also on his way. I'd like to thank DJ Joe Mfalme for that short break. He'll be back later on before we break for the World Cup. So yes, this is for the TV audience. Welcome back to the Man Cave. This is a man's affair. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen who are joining us from home, and gentlemen here congregated at the Summer House, asanteni sana kwa kuja. Now we can get started. We have met the panel and we have heard them from the public space to the private space, who they are. And I'd like to start from that side again. And this is a conversation. We'll open it to you. We'll give you a mic if you want to throw a direct question to the panelists. And to Simon Bevy, in your experience as you talk to men, as you interact with them, as you try to help them hold hands, is there an identity crisis for men currently?
Very good question, Mark. You know, I think the opportunity I've had is rare. And I've celebrated just meeting men, not only here in Kenya, but across the continent and beyond, through Man Enough. We now have 45,000 men who have gone through this. And to me, to see men coming over to have conversations on manhood, part of it is that there are many men who are asking, who am I really? Because of the role change, as we had earlier, but also for me, because of the fatherhood crisis. I tend to, it's a reality, and I tend to believe that fathers hand over the baton of masculinity to their sons. And when the father-son connection is lacking, then a lot of boys don't really know who they are. Like when my father died when I was 8 years old, I went through a difficult time. I was looking for a father's voice to speak to me and tell me who I am. And I kept looking at teachers around me and other people and really searching for a father until my music teacher one time, in that crisis of wondering, who am I? Am I going to make it in life? What am I going to become? In fact, he called me to the front, he celebrated me, and immediately became my father figure. And you know what he told me? He told me, young boy, I see you're bright, and one day you'll be a lawyer. And he called that out. And I'm a lawyer today because of my music teacher as a father figure. As I've talked with many people who have a crisis of fatherhood, but also many who are asking questions from where Pete left, saying, aside of work, aside of my woman, aside of my money, who am I really? And I think this is something men are grappling with around the world. But those are some of the examples of some of the challenges we are facing as we try to redefine who we are.
All right, I think we've seen someone walk in. Nameless, so manaless, sababu mengia late. But anyway, he told us he would be coming in late because he was in another function, at another function. Nameless, on the socials, you would see that he is a creative, as well as a philosopher. Hey, philosopher, you say. Entertainer and architect. Yani ni msee mchoro. But really, on the real, if you need some good designs, this man does architecture professionally and over the years. And he's the youngest dad on the panel. Like, the one to be, yes, Buddha in the last.
Yeah. Niaji say, Mugopoe, first, Poleni, but, you know, I'd let you know I was fearing that. The youngest, I'm not the youngest guy.
Like the
youngest dad.
The newest dad on the panel.
The newest dad, yes.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thanks, bro. I was blessed a month ago. So sleepless nights, nini munaelewa manze. But yeah, I was driving. I was seeing. I was watching it on online.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're going to ask what don't you?
No, if you were watching, you know that we had agreed that tutaimba songs about
DJ Mfalme manze ameniangusha manze. I was waiting for you to changamka.
But karibu sana. And I'll let you settle in as we engage the rest of the panel.
Right.
To Bwana Mungai, and it won't be just down the panel. I'll just, in fact, just engage anyone randomly. But Bwana Mungai, if there is indeed, if we can agree there's an identity crisis for men, does the naming or does the calling out of your identity necessarily have to come from your father, as we've heard from Simon Bevy, who had someone else call out the man in him?
Well, I think our dads, you know, or our father figure have got, you know, a part to play in regards to that. But I also am a strong believer that, you know, if that have not been called out for you, you can also figure it out. And I'll tell you in a short while. I mean, one of the things that I've told people that if I wanted to be a millionaire in dollar terms is about helping people to figure out what their purpose is in this world. Because just too many people are trying to figure out or would like somebody to tell them what their purpose is. And the bad news is, unfortunately, nobody can figure that out for you. You have to spend very deliberate time with yourself, which unfortunately many of us men, we don't want to call ourselves for those meetings. We don't want to spend time reflecting and trying to design and trying to monitor what are the trends that then can be able to help us to see what our purpose is in this world. And it's about living a life of purpose once you define that. And again, speaking about that, you know, I talk a lot about unlocking people's potential. And I believe that that unlocking of people's potential, and especially for us men, is based on 9 things. And I quickly name them, but I think we can get into the details of that. And I think that's what then will become our purpose. Number 1 is how are you and your spirituality. Second point is about you and your health. Dr. Mushero here will tell you the facts. It's also about you and your inner health. Are you that gloomy person all the time? Or are you that positive person? Number 4 is about your family. Number 5 is what, we wake up to every day. It's our careers. You'll notice that number 6 is finances. Unfortunately, many of us, and especially those from where I come from, we put it as number 1. Number 7, is what I call circle of genius. What is your network? Who do you make that call to when you're in trouble? Number 7 is that, which I call adventure. Number 8 is what I call impact, and the difference that you'll make, when everything else is gone. And number 9, friends, is about having fun, which is adventure. And the moment we define those as our success key indicators, then truly we will have unlocked our value, we will have unlocked our potential, and we will start living that life that we want. Unfortunately, it doesn't come just like that. We must spend time, have specific goals, and smart goals around those things, and move on. Unfortunately, I know you are saying it's difficult. I can tell you personally, I've done it for 15 years, but it took me 5 years of struggle to get into that system. They say it is difficult in the beginning, messy in the middle, but gorgeous, friends, at the end.
Omanyala, I'll be getting to you in a bit. I just want to engage Burale in this point. Yes, identity crisis, but by the same token, is it a harsh truth to say that men are living a lie?
I don't think so. Why? Because the world has put us in a box. If there was a 5-year-old boy here and he fell down, the father would say, don't look at him, he will cry. So you have taught me to be what you want me to be. You have taught me from the age of 5 to be strong, even if I'm hurting on the inside. So don't expect me at the age of 45 to now show you my emotions. You told me not to show my emotions. Mwanaume ni kuparara. Mwanaume ni kujikaza. You understand what I'm saying? If you go less than 30 minutes with your wife, wewe si mwanaume. You understand? So then we will start doing crazy things, and that's why they're dying on the line of duty. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to understand, all of us men here, from the age of 5, there are men here, if they were to open up, you'd see tears flowing here. But we are not supposed to cry. We will talk about football, we will talk about politics, we will talk about women. And then tomorrow you'll hear, one of us committed suicide. And the statement that follows, but he seemed okay yesterday. We are not living a lie. You have just told us not to show you our emotions. So then when we don't show you emotions, we are told you are living a lie. When we show you the emotions, you are told you are not a man. So in fact, for me, the greatest depth of strength is your level of genuine vulnerability. It doesn't make you a weak man. It just makes you a man in touch with your emotions that can allow you in vulnerability to give strength to another man. So I don't think men are living a lie. The only guys living a lie are Arsenal fans who they think they'll win the league.
Hey, I'm the moderator here. I'm the moderator. said guys on the table. But clearly from the outburst here, you see what we all talk about. Football, sports, we can all talk about that. But when we talk about debts and other issues, depression, inakuwaga, tulia mse, cheki ball, ama pewa round moja, unyamaze. Nakuja kwako, Omanyala, to Pete, do we need to tear down, break down some social constructs, even religious, about what a man is meant to be?
Absolutely. Part of the idea of reconstruction of Pete Odera as a concept for me was the whole idea that there are certain religious norms, things that pastors or ministers do, or Christians or spiritual men do, that are expected of them, that are really just, after COVID, you ask yourself, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? But absolutely. And I think that also, if COVID didn't teach us things, then one of the things that should have taught us is that there's a circle. And I think Daktari pointed about this thing a little earlier. Creating a circle around yourself of people who you can be vulnerable with. Because there's some people who know your mess. what I was going to use is not palatable for TV. They know who you really are without your microphone. They know who you are without your suit. They know who you are. And so the idea is to create a circle around you of people who you can be vulnerable with. I think what Robert is saying is so true, but I can't wear my emotions on my sleeve. I can't do that. What I can do, though, is build a circle around me, a few people who, when they see me, they'll know, hey, Maze, Nikubaya, come, I need to show you something. So that it's okay. I started going to the gym, several years ago. When I went to the gym, people would tell me, men don't cry. Boss, they cry. It's just that you have to see them when they're crying. I was in the gym and these guys were working out and the phone rang. The phone rang, and when it rang, the guy looked at it and says, it's her again. That's a man crying. We go to, that's him crying. That's his. And then he sits in front. We sit with these dudes at the bar, and you're sitting in the bar, and how many waiters or bartenders will tell you how many tears have gone into those beer glasses? Because that's the place they sit there and they come to terms with who they are, and they say, when I leave here, I'll go back to the pressure. I'll go back to the things that are supposed to be. And the problem with modernity is that we have not created the spaces where we can actually say, by the way, I'm hurting, which is why the man will have committed suicide and you were with him yesterday and will say, but he was okay. But he was okay. We must build that. And then we must be the kind of people, I know I said the last thing is that we have to hold each other accountable. I must be able to go to Nameless and say, Maze uko sawa. I won't tell them what I did a few weeks ago when I came to see you. But really just come and say, uko sawa. Tell me. And one of the things I learned through this whole COVID thing, through this 2022 illness thing is just ability to be vulnerable, to say, Maze, I'm not doing well. I'm not doing well. It's okay to not be okay.
And you have that circle, just a yes or no. You have that circle of men. For sure. Omanyala, you just introduced yourself as, we all know you in your athleticism and the achievements you've made. And it can be a blessing or a curse in the terms that it's now going to define you. Do you ever feel the pressure? You've achieved a lot as a young man. Do you ever feel the pressure to live up to a social expectation? Na saa zingine mse labda Omanyala ana balance kwa M-Pesa na unamsumbua. But on a real note, do you ever feel the pressure to live up to your achievements?
You see, people knew me in 2021, and before that, there were 5 years of struggle. I started this thing in 2016, and you can realize that it's something different. Kenyans are not known for what I'm doing. And growing up, it was a matter of so many challenges. And most of the times I could go back home and lock myself in my bedroom and just look myself in the mirror and cry out. Because you've come from the field, you've qualified to go to an event, but then you're thrown out of the pitch. You're told sprinters kidogo hawafanyi anything. There's a time you're thrown out of the team a week to travel. Guys are going to the embassy, you're told, usiende, your name is not on the list of the visas. So you see, those are the challenges I've had to go through. And you know, the sport I'm doing is very tough. And it takes a lot from you, physically, mentally, emotionally, because anytime you get to the field, you train until your body gets to an autopilot, because you don't feel your body anymore. It's just your head in there. So you have to make yourself stronger mentally so that you can pursue and get through the workout you've been given. So anytime you're getting out of the field and you remember that you cannot represent the country, you're doing this and you don't even know if you're going to compete. Those are the very hard challenges I've had to go through. And those are the challenges I believe God was preparing me for, because the journey that came after that, the breakthrough that came after the challenges I went through were very great. And for me, any time I get in the field, I forget about everything. I forget about everyone. It's me and the track. So pressure on me, no. I don't feel the pressure at all, because it's me who is running that race. And after the 10 or 9 seconds, people will judge you on how you've run. There's a time I came number 5 in one of these competitions, and people were calling me the 5th, because
Jinsi wazuri.
Because people expect you to be winning. They forget that we are human. We are not robots. We are not operated by computers. We are human, and we get the emotional break. Because every time you're going into a competition, sometimes you get into a competition with an injury. There's a time I went to a competition with a knee injury, and there's so much expectation from people, but people forget that you are also human. You're also born of a mother. You're not like you were thrown out of the sky and fallen into the ground and started running. So people don't understand that, but it's up to you. Yeah. For athletes, for us, the most important part of everything is your mental strength. I say 90% mental, 10% training. Yeah. Anytime, we've seen so many athletes out here, so many people who have had very good training regimes, but anytime they get to the race, they chicken out. They can't compete, or maybe they look at their competitors and say, this guy's an Olympic champion, he's a world champion, so you can't compete with him or her. So you find you're very good, you are the best, you're the fittest person in the field, but you end up losing the race because it's mental.
And I'll get back to whether the achievements define you later. Nameless, after you respond to this next question, I'd have the panel to just interject as we continue with the conversation. I wanted everyone to have an initial opportunity to speak. Nameless is, I'm not saying you're old, but nakuja kutoka kitambo, yani nimekusikia kutoka kitambo, siku za Mega Rider, and you have a place in society, or at least there's an expectation that Nameless has got it going on. Whether it's in a family front, and he's celeb, first of all, he's made it for himself. He's an architect. He's a family man with, happy wife, happy children. And I love the relationship that you portray with you and your daughter. I have a young daughter and a son. And to be honest, I know it's not for show. I love what you do with that. So hats off to you for that. But
thanks.
Umesikia watu wakisema how, crying can come in different forms. Yeah. But let's speak to something else, and whether or not you go to a circle of people to speak to, times ikiwa hard, do you have someone that you speak to? Because kuna ile uogofya inaweza leak. Niambie msee, ambie, Nameless akona hii. Yeah. Who do you go to, or where do you turn when there's a crisis for you?
Okay, for me, you mentioned when you saw somewhere I've written philosopher, and you're like, hey, what's that about? And it's something I realized in just a few years ago, that I've always lived my life where I'm questioning literally everything. And I'm questioning it to look for what's the best way. Like, it was just natural in me, I'm now knowing it now, 40 years later. When I started watching other philosophers on YouTube, because every time I would hear a philosopher, I'd be like, philosopher, you're nini, But when you watch it, you're like, the way this guy is thinking is how I actually question everything. And for me, it's actually striving for wisdom, right? You're like, what's the best? So what happened would be, anytime someone would tell me something and then sit right with me, I don't just adopt it immediately. I'm just like, that doesn't sound right or anything like that. So through that process, I would come up with my own way of trying to doing things, not what everyone is just saying, because I'm like, I don't know if that works. I'll try it out. If you tell me something, I'll try it out myself, try it out for fit. And I'm saying it's not working for me, because he might be saying size 10 Jordans are nice because he loves size 10 Jordan. But maybe I'm a size 12, okay? And I'll try to wear the size 10, and I'm like, it's not making sense. So for me, being in the industry, I just got in there. I have what I would say social anxiety from before. But when I got in there, I said, okay, how do I walk through this? And I always tell guys that I started trying to identify people who I could just check, is there something I'm not understanding, Basically, that's like a blind spot, yeah. And I think I've always been lucky enough to accept when I'm wrong. I'm a last born, by the way, so I ended up having this. I just ended up observing people fast before I make a decision. So if you tell me, oh, jump, I'll be that guy like, wait, let me try and understand. Do I want to jump or not? So me, even if everyone is saying, man, don't cry and all, I'll try it out, and I'll be like, okay, okay, maybe I don't cry, but what's that, you know? So when I listen to Pete, I listen and say, okay, that kind of makes sense to me, you know? So over the years, I've gotten a few friends who I really, really trust, yeah? And I'll tell you one thing, before I make a decision, because I'm also very scientific with how I make a decision, to be honest, I first check myself, like what am I feeling about what guys are saying, and then I have a close people who I can really be open and just be like, yo, I'm feeling this stress, man, I don't know what's cutting, what do you think? But there are people who I trust in terms of the feedback, because I've been noticing, I like what this guy is saying, I'm resonating with what he's saying. So I started, over these 20 years, you can imagine I started off being socially anxious. And I had to find ways, because I'm like, I'm already here, I'm nameless, you know, now I have to be nameless and come out there and all that. So I would find people I can talk to over time, just building that self-confidence and making better decisions. But finally, I'd also look for what's researched. What's been, you know, what have people, because nothing we're going through is new. There are people who have been trying to understand it better. So for me, I'd be open to go to like a counselor or a therapist. And I'm like, oh, he says something, and I'm like, I was looking for a tool. I was looking for something to handle my pressure, you know? It could be my issues with my wife, or it could be issues with my career, or how I'm feeling. And for me, I'm like, this is working for me, you know? Even if someone else says it's not working for him, in my head, I'm like, how do I go to a place I don't know and don't want to ask for directions? And I find people there who know the directions. Like, for me, it would never make sense when I see guys saying, Miss it all, these are directions, tutaipata. I'm like, why? Like, so you just ask that guy who is there and he knows. So if I find this as an area I don't understand, I look for who really knows this area. Yeah. Then I question, yeah. So what I've started doing now of late is when I'm with guys, I'll just throw something like, hey, manze, jana manze nilikuwa na kansala wangu, and you know, and the guy's like, unaendanga kuwa na kansala Buddha. And I'm like, yani wezi, uendangi kuwa na kansala bebe? You know, I'm like, for real, how do you navigate life without, you know, all these kind of people who have understood it a bit more better than you? Yeah. Right. So for me, I think that's how I've navigated through my 20 years of just being in the public and having pressures and responsibilities.
There's no camera facing the audience right now. Wangapi wenda kwa counselor? Inua tu. Moja, mbili, tatu. Kuna moja hapa mngine. Clearly it's not with everyone, or it's not something that many people would turn to or openly admit to, because there's an angle of weakness. Mwanaume akienda kwa counselor kuongea na kufungua roho. But let me ask also, and you can shout it out. We have many definitions of mwanaume. So say whatever comes to mind, at least whether it's you believe it, or what you've heard. You tell me. When I ask, mwanaume ni? Mado? Mwanaume ni? Wallet? Mwanaume ni? Sema tena? Kujijua.
Kujijua, yeah.
Mwanaume ni upande? Kifua. Jasho. Kunuka jasho ama kutoa jasho? Oh, mwanaume ni effort ya madem. Kwa msee mwingine amesema hapa. So we have certain social constructs that we might laugh at as we call it out, but subconsciously actually directs you in the actions that you take. And this is now to whoever will take it. Have we failed as men based on what we expect as our role, protector, provider? But we even heard from the keynote speech, women who we were thought to be providing for, protecting, can do it themselves. They can own guns. They can provide for themselves. They earn. So are we failing, or are things changing? And I don't know who would want to take this first. Simon.
Well, thank you. I like what Nameless was talking about, because what I find, Mark, just for us to be really real with ourselves, there are lots of us here, as we were told earlier, who go through a lot of pressure, but we don't really talk about it. And we've got to reconstruct this by coming off the place of defining ourselves by what we do and what we have. Because if you lose your job tomorrow, then you're going to be in a crisis. We've got to define manhood by something a little bit deeper. My conversations with men, I find that we have 4 needs we need to answer to if we're going to move forward into authentic manhood. Number 1 is redefining, and I'll say something about that in a minute. What does it really mean to be a man, aside of the car you ride in, the woman you hang out with, and all these other things, the money and the effort? Number 2 is brotherhood. I believe a man is made a man among other men. And just us coming together, doing the talk that you were talking about, challenging each other, the network, we get to call each other out, support one another, and help each other move forward. Thirdly is vulnerability, and that has been talked about. And vulnerability doesn't just come. I found many boys' clubs who are not vulnerable enough. You know, there's a friend of mine who said one day his wife told him, I don't want you to come back home. Find a place to go. And so he goes to the club that evening with his boys, and when he's a little tipsy, he says, hey, but hey, guys, I have nowhere to go to. And they laughed and said, Pewa ingini, you know. and eventually every man filed out and left him. He slept in the club. That's when he realized, these are not really my boys. There are people we talk about, but it's not intentional in that we have decided we're going to open up and talk about the challenges we face. Why we have seen in Man Enough, strangers come together and within 4 weeks, they are talking about things they have never told a human being. It's because we're very intentional in the beginning to say, here, we're going to keep it real. And there's a commitment. This is not going to go to social media. This is us men dealing with men issues. It's a man's affair. And when that commitment is there, then vulnerability comes, because I can trust you. You open up to a safe space. And lastly is significance, and we're talking about that. Beyond success is their significance. So back to defining ourselves, because if you define yourself as a protector, provider, and all of that, that is neither here nor there. You still need your responsibility, but your wife could be earning way more than you and provide for the family as well. These are 3 things I see internally we can define ourselves, that it doesn't matter whether you have a job or not, however much money you have, this defines who you really are, as Pete said. Honor, duty, and care. I should say masculinity sits on a 3-legged stool. 1 is your character, honor, that you honor yourself, you respect yourself, your words, your tweets, and you respect others. And people are going to respect you, and that will make you a man that would be celebrated. 2 is duty. Are you committed to be what you're supposed to be as a father? Again, just we have seen good examples of fatherhood. Instead of neglecting our children and going for other things, that as a husband, as a father, whatever roles you play, but there's a commitment in you to fulfill them. Responsibility. And lastly is care. I always say a man stands tallest when he reaches out furthest and lowest to lift up others. That we will see the tender side of a warrior, to do this, to lift up others. Those to me are internal things that are not dependent on the car I ride and the other changes that happen every day. And if we can commit to that definition, inner definition, not outward things that hang around us, I believe then we can say we succeed, whether there's money in the bank or not.
Right, I see Pete reaching out for the microphone on the question to failure, or maybe to add up to what Simon Bevia said.
I had a very interesting 2 very interesting conversations recently with a gentleman that I just got to know recently. I was emceeing an event and I met him, and we went to his office to talk, and then we talked, and then he revealed to me, he's a very successful in our eyes man, but he revealed to me that he'd lost his wife. Does that make him less of a man? He lost his partner. And I talked with an old friend. He called me up and said, Pete, I'd like to talk with you. And he said something to me. He said he had lost his wife. And I found this very interesting. And his wife had, he had not lost his wife because she had died, but their relationship fell apart. We're seeing this more and more often. But what I found is that very often the reason these things fall apart, when it is my fault as a man, is the failure to have vulnerability. But here's the thing, and I think Simon mentioned it. Vulnerability demands privacy. Vulnerability demands privacy. I cannot be vulnerable in public. most men cannot be vulnerable in public. They need the privacy and security. And I think one of the things that demands is that we begin to build genuine relationships where now that vulnerability can come. But I want to take this thing a step further, because there's a lady who, when I posted this poster on my social media, said something, and now all you need is a 13-year-old and an 80-year-old man. I feel, and I said it at the end, that this reconstruction must be generational. My father died 7 years ago, but I remember the last 5 years, 10 years that I spent with my dad was so fruitful, because now we had a meaningful relationship where I could go to him and ask him things. I'm wondering where the 70, 80-year-old men in this conversation, because there's things that an 80-year-old man knows, there's things that a 70-year-old man knows that I don't know as a 53-year-old. People are looking to me and say, oh, you're so wise. But I say, but there's a 73-year-old person who can teach me in his sleep what I would never know in any of my waking moments. So I believe that one of the things we must do, and I like what Nameless said, is begin to cultivate and not be afraid to approach the wazés, and cultivate relationships with these wazés where they can also trust you. Because what I found is that as we go to them and begin to befriend them, and not just be this one-hit wonder person who comes to say, hey, I need ABC, that we learn how to relate, so that the blocks that have been, the transition posts that have been broken through modernity can be restored, so that now that wisdom that is with the fathers can then pass to we as sons, and that we can share it with our brothers, and then be intentional with our sons, so that that wisdom then, and of course modernity has happened, but if we maintain those relationships, then we're able to keep that flow of wisdom going from generation to generation.
Continuity. Brother.
Well, just allow me to add, and Dr. Peter said something very important, where are the 80-year-olds? Because we need them. But I'll tell you where some are. They're still hurting. Because what has happened, most men here, you are appreciated as long as you can pay school fees, as long as you can pay rent, as long as you can buy food. There is a place in America, allow me not to mention it, that has 70 to 80-year-old Kenyan women who were brought there by their children, and their fathers are in the village somewhere reading last week's newspaper. Because
I don't want to take your line of questioning because it will take me to a rabbit hole. Allow me answer it to the best way I know in terms of the premise of your question. Let us contrast. Why is it that when women and girls face gender-based violence, there is no hue and cry from men? But if men face it, there is hue and cry from everybody that unajua wewe unapigwanga mark.
But there's ridicule to the extent that people wanakanyagia.
So this is the point. How are we brought up? Masculinity in us tells us we are the conquerors. A man is a hunter, a woman is a gatherer. I mean, there is no place for vulnerability, and those spaces are not there. And the question then becomes, it is abnormal to see a man who has been beaten or battered for that matter and coming and speaking out, as opposed to men, as opposed to women and girls, because statistically then that is what it is. But I think it is not a competition of whether we are being battered by either gender.
It shouldn't be happening in the first place.
It shouldn't be happening in the first place.
Let me hold you on that, and we'll continue with this conversation. We have a TV audience, and we need to sign off to them and tell them asanteni for tuning in. But because you didn't pay and you did not commit to be here, the conversation continues, and the sweeter part of it, so much so. Wase watafungua roho sasa. And this conversation continues. We want to hear, at least the audience at home, some men from around the country who are committing to stop GBV. And that's what we want to listen to as we sign off. Tuseme asanteni sana. Thank you for tuning in. But the sweeter part continues now. The conversation continues online, but the conversation here continues. Na saizi tutaanza kurom mic kuwapea mic kule muulize directly. Kama unataka kuuliza mtu kwenye the audience, please do directly. Just hold up your hand. Someone will bring a mic to you. So let's listen to the commitment from different men in the country.
Awu kayanga marichune ratiro marjo mamine. Nderuteire gutetera ihoto cia atumia.
Ago nuge atononji imanita osotik.
Nerure komokinia umosvadi.
Nerusisia kulinda wesikhasi. Globally, 35% of those aged between 15 to 19 were women continue to face physical violence. And those between the age of 40 to 49 accounts for 54% of physical violence. We are making a wake-up call to all who are concerned, especially the male and the men champions, to be at the forefront in fighting and combating the vice that is sexual and gender-based violence in this campaign of 16 days of gender activism.
Care, I am he for she.
We tend to, prioritize others before ourselves, and unfortunately, health takes a backseat. And so there are many, many men who come, only as a last resort. In fact, there's a joke that goes around that, when you see a man coming to the hospital, then it's really, really bad, and just get ready to hear, bad stories. So, we are not taking care of ourselves as we should.
And this is to help people understand how many men do you actually have coming for health checks, just to see where they stand when it's not a crisis.
Right, very few. I mean, compared to the ladies do a much better job of coming to a hospital. And we are talking about not just, when you're sick, we are talking about health maintenance. I mean, we know maintenance is something we do for all our belongings. We maintain our cars, we maintain our houses, we maintain our land. Why not maintain our bodies? Because we are all here because we are healthy. I mean, if any one of us was unwell, was bedridden, we probably would not have been in this forum. And so maintaining our health becomes an extremely important component of daily living.
Let me throw this in, because, and I'm sure some of you have said it almost in a braggadocious manner, I'll sleep when I die. You know, it's even in a rap song, I think, 50 Cent it is, I'll sleep when I die. Yani weni mwanaume unafanya kazi, utahitaji tu 4 hours ama 3 hours ya kulala alafu rudi hustle. Yes, there's some people who work with very tight hours. Sisemi Joe Mfalme, lakini tumeona schedule yako. Grace to you, brother. But even something that comes off as a joke, but can drive you to the hospital bed and, God forbid, the grave. What can you say to that, especially?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a lot of research now coming in that shows that people who, sleep less than 7 hours actually have worse health outcomes eventually than people who sleep between 7 and 9 hours. The same can be said for people who sleep, a lot, who sleep in more than 9 hours.
Ebu tulize wanaume. Is it possible for you to sleep for 7 hours straight, vizuri, bila kusumbuliwa? Who here does? Who here manages 7 hours? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Z. This is Hype God. Z. We are lali 7 hours. There's that reality.
Yeah.
Balance. The life demands.
I totally understand. And now there's football, and so, we have to watch football, we have to sleep at 12. I totally understand. But I think at the end of the day, it's about balancing out. And I think my main message to all the guys here is that prioritize your health. Prioritize your health. That's extremely key. Myself and Dr. Mungai here, we usually have an appointment once a year where, we sort of take care of him. And I think that's the same message for all of us, that it's important that we take our health seriously. Some of these diseases will not appear, they'll take very long to appear. And when they appear, they've gone too much. Some of them do not have symptoms. And, you can go for years without getting symptoms. Things like diabetes, high blood pressure, will not give you any symptoms for a long time. Unless you look for them, you will not, get to know. Yet they are damaging your organs. So it's extremely key to prioritize health.
And there's two gentlemen who want to interject on this point, and I want to bring it in here as well as a comment that I had from my colleague. I was asking him how much he spends qua gym, and it's about 10 to 15K a month. I was like, hey, that's a lot. But he said, if you're not willing to spend to take care of your body, however much money you're making, you'll not be around long enough to enjoy it. Msee mwingine atakuja, ataichukulia na ataenjoy. And I actually thought to myself, hang on, if you do the math, people probably spend on a weekend. And in a month, it's upwards of 20K. Kamnyweso tu. Nothing wrong about that. Balance. Balance. But if you're not willing to even spend that money to invest in your body, where are your priorities? Are you really wanting to be around there for your family and your people? Dr. Peter and Dr. Mungai wanted to speak.
I know Dr. Mungai may add to this. I never saw a urologist all my life until this year when I had a problem. Hello. Let me just ask, by way of showing hands, how many of you have gone to see a urologist in your life as men?
Tunezaanza huyo anafanyaga nini?
Urologist ni nani?
Nimesikia Joe akiuliza, Joe Mfalme.
And that's my point, guys. But you ask any woman your age, if they've gone to see a gynecologist, and they'll quickly answer. Listen, that gadget is not just for bedroom. Hallelujah. Amen. I knew I'd get silence in this place. When we say take care of your health, one of the things, and Dr. Musheru and Dr. Mungai will tell you more, but I'm not a medical doctor, but I do want to say this that's important. Go and see those guys. It'll help you. And don't wait. I'm 53, and that's when I realized that I had a problem. They began to say, oh, by the way, you have an enlarged prostate. It's not too bad, but let's manage it now. Because many of us are going to then now disturb us with M-Pesa requests saying that, hey, Maze, so-and-so is sick because we didn't listen on the day that Dr. Musheru was talking and said, by the way, go get checked once a year. When you get to 39, 40, go get checked once a year. Get your prostate checked. Get the gadget fixed before it fixes you. That's what I wanted to say.
Dr. Mungai.
They say that health is the crown that only the sick people will see. worn by us who are healthy. And it's true, what Dr. Mushero is saying here, that
say it again.
Health is the crown that only the sick people will see on the healthy people. Now, when Dr. Mushero stands here and say that we need to get checkups, I tell you it's very difficult, the first one. And guess what? You don't even probably need to pay for it. Because many of you are in insurance covers that already have factored in that. You just need to show up and get that medical test done on you. Let me just give an example. I'm going to share, a little story between me and Dr. Mushero here. And it's a good thing that he was here. 3-4 years ago, I went seeing him. My cholesterol is very low. And even, people are saying, well, this is fantastic. But this one time, I went and he realized that it just increased a little bit. And then we started a conversation. What have you done? So that this hadn't gotten to this level. And guess what? I had changed my lifestyle a little bit. And what was it? To take oatmeal, not with water, but with milk. And I had done this consistently for 8 months. And just by looking at the numbers, and by the way, they are not scary numbers. It was extremely low, but now getting to tip. And he said, we need to figure out what it is. Now imagine, 5 years I didn't do that, and today, what would that cholesterol mean? Friends, it's a simple task. I know it's very difficult the first time. To give you an example, this medical test, for like 5 years, I was trying to tell my wife we go. And she refused. But the first time she agreed, which is another 5 years ago, he said, man, this is the best thing you have done to me. So how I wish that when it comes to January, you will say, this is the best thing, Edward, you did to me. Thank you.
Dr. Mushero, you can conclude on your part just so you can take your seat and continue the conversation. I'd like Antonio Sol to be attentive to those who would have a question, because I want to throw it to the audience. Direct question to the gentleman here. I know Dr. Mushero had some financially directed contributions to make, and in terms of planning for the future. Omanyala wanted to challenge each and every one of us in terms of going where uncharted waters. And Pastor Simon and Dr. Odera had the mission to come and redefine manhood as we know it. And Burale was also here to talk about not leaving any man behind. And I know Nameless also wants us to open up to being vulnerable. Don't always act like you're in control if you're not. So I'd like umeshakaa chini bwana. Ilikuwa tu nikaa conclusion ya hawa say kuambia tafadhali muulize maswali. Yes, I see one hand over there, Antonio Sol. I see another. Take notes of that so that they can ask the questions directly, and you'll tell me who it is. Just conclude.
Yeah, so my conclusion, once again, I cannot overemphasize the fact that it's important to prioritize our healthcare, get wellness checkups. Some of these things you'll not know them unless you look for them. And when you know them, you find that you're able to change your lifestyle, just like Dr. Mungai gave the example, and you're able to live longer. So mapema and your best. That's a mantra. Thank you.
Ashasema. Gentlemen, Omanyala, kwanza wewe unajua unakuaga track sana, but can you emphasize for yourself? I know it's almost a requirement to do those checkups and make sure like your health is, tops kabisa. But the importance for say, nothing intimidating like kuvaa shati imekushikilia hivyo, but the importance for you, what it does.
It's an option. Yeah, you see, for athletes who put our bodies in line, and our bodies are our offices. So for us, it's like a must. You have to make sure your body is in check, your nutrition is in check, your muscles are moving freely, because you have to attend the physiotherapy sessions 2 or 3 times a week. You have to go to check for checkups 2 or 3 times a month to make sure your body the hemoglobin level is at where it's supposed to be. So for us, it's like food. Going to hospital, going for checkups is a normal thing for us, because these are offices.
And gentlemen, as he says, these are our offices. It's because he makes his bread from his body directly and the performance of his body. But let's be honest, you do too. If you're not sound, whether it is mentally, physically, whatever hustle you call, you won't be able to do it. Your body is also your office. And we see the importance of it. Anto, just say your name and question.
So as we do that, let me also challenge all of us. When Dr. Martin Luther King died, when he was shot at 39 years old, when an autopsy was done by a coroner, his heart was found to be a heart of a 60-year-old. So if you're asking why, just go check out later. You guys will find out. Let's start with you.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Victor. Allow me to say this, Mark. I run an initiative that is called Check on a Man. I'm a former street boy. The person who made me to be born again is Burale. I lost my parents when I was young. I ended up being hosted by an uncle who dragged me and raped me. So far, I've been privileged to school for street kids. I feed street families twice a week, Thursdays at Jivanji from 8 to 10 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Nation Center, Poinje. Before I ask my question, ningependa kusema hivi. As men, the initiative of mental health that I'm running, I'd want us to guide each other to God. Respect the choice of faith that someone has. Either Muslim, Christians, all of us, we communicate to God through prayer. Number 2, learn to love yourself as a man. Nobody will love you if you don't love yourself. Yep. And you attract who you are. Number 3, as men, let us be faithful. Kama unapenda wasichana wa shule, nunulia bibi yako school uniform.
Sema yo tena, bro.
Yeah. If you love school going girls, just buy your wife school uniform. Ukiona Betty Chalo amevaa fiti, nunulia girlfriend yako the same clothes. Number 4, I'd want you as a father. That is why I did Man Enough when I was still in the street. Thank you, Simon Baby. I became who I am because of Man Enough. Number 4, ningependa as a father, I'm a dad of 2 and I'm a guardian of 4 kids. So far, kijana wa kwanza nilichukua, I'm a graduate this week with actuarial science from the street. Yep. Ningependa kusema hivi, have time for your individual child. Let us stop bringing up happy children. The happiness is really important. But let us bring up responsible kids. Kids who can confide in us as parents. And that's where we are failing. Yep. Number 5, I'd want you to have time for your collective children. Learn to sit down and talk to your kids. Some of you here, mmekuja hapa, but your house help is the one that bringing your children. And God forbid if that house help came from a bad spiritual background. Kindly let your kids confide in you as a father. Let them tell you some of the nitty-gritties. Me as Victor, if I had someone to talk to when I was being raped by my uncle, yep, ningekuwa nimeheal. But imagine I battled depression for 15 years, 6 times suicide attempt. Eda kwa YouTube andika jina yangu. I was hosted in Grace Msalame shows. The last one ningependa kusema hivi. Have time for your family. Tonight before you sleep, tafadhali, check on your grandfather, check on your dad. These old folks, most of them are not dying because of age factor. It's because of loneliness. Is what is killing these old folks. Ningependa ask your dad this simple question. Dad, how was your day? After that, ask him, Dad, how is life? If you ask any man how life is, they have a tendency of sharing what they're going through indirectly. Maze kulia imanishiweni mwanamke. Kulia imanishiweni mwanamke. You know. And after that, kama unapenda kunisupport what I do, niko na socks hapa. If you take a pair of socks for 200, that's a plate of food. But ningependa kuuliza hii question. Kwa nyinyi wenye, especially the men of God. Tunakimbilianga mapasi tukiona issues. But when they have their own issues, they have no one to run to. When will we check on the men in the cloth? Because wakifanya kitu, tunawachekelea. Secondly, what can we do as a nation to stop faking life? Kuvaa suti, imanishi uko fiti. But when will we learn? When will we learn to protect men and telling them, Maze, John, kuja, ongea, lia, chukua tissue, lia, sema vitu zote, and become who you are. Let me tell you something before I sit. Nameless once gave me 300 shillings. The job of raising funds, hizi socks nimebeba. It is Antonio Sol one gave me 1,000 shillings kwa jam. Na huyo jamaa ameka pale Nameless. I started raising funds to feed street families through the money of Antonio Sol and Nameless. But do you know my healing? My healing came from Robert Burale and Simon Bevy. I did Man Enough, and it is Robert Burale who guided me to receive Christ. I am here today because they don't know who I am. Hawajai niona. Hawajui because Nameless gave me money na nikaenda kwa jam. Yep. But how many impact have you made in people's lives that today ukidedi, kuna mtu anapiganga magoti anasema, God, I don't know the name of that young man or that old man, but I am healing. I have na hiyo ndio mnatafutanga kwa pombe mwache kujifanya. Hiyo peace mnatafuta kwa pombe. When will we learn to give men the peace? Kukunywa pombe sio mbaya, but usikunywe because uko na depression, unakunywa because uko happy. And let me tell you this before I sit. Give alcohol to those who are perishing, are about to die and have given up in life. It's in the book of Revelation. So God bless you so much. My two questions are, when will you check on the men of clothes, and when will you learn to protect men so that they can be able to open up and heal? Thank you so much.
Simon Bevy, you can tell us. He said we check on our fathers. Imagine if you texted your father, "I love you" today. They will literally know a con man from Kamiti is. They want money. They want money.
So that we don't lose the energy on the questions.
Yes.
Let's answer each question first, because time is not on our side, and we need to wrap it up by 45 thereabouts. Gentlemen, you heard the question here. Let's answer it as we get the questions from the audience. Real quick.
Maybe just a quick one, and it's that was a nice story, isn't it? Guys, let's give him a clap one more time. Good story. I would say all of us, and I agree with you, whether it's a man of cloth or an old man in the village, we need 3 years. Affection, affirmation, and acceptance. And it's expressed differently. The way I tell my mother I love you may be by certain actions, not necessarily the word, or my father. But I need to show affection to them. I need to show acceptance, that I accept them even in their old age and what they are struggling with. And lastly, affirmation, just to tell them, I see what you're doing, and I see what you have done, and I'm happy with you, and I celebrate you for the things you have done. I tell my mother regularly, you raised me well, and I remind her things that she did, and that gives her joy. So I think we need to take care of each other even around those 3 years. Just nameless, you coming to me and say, man, you're doing a good job with Man Enough. That in itself will do something to me. That's how we take care of each other as men. Guys, we need to realize if we don't stand together, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, we will die each one alone as fools. But we need each other. So just touch your brother next to you and say, I need you, man. And let's stand together, protect each other. For the men of a cloth, thankfully, Dr. Pete, at least there's a lot more happening among the men of a cloth. That we are able to form some groups and talk to one another. And I think there's positive things around that. That very few men of a cloth now walk alone. That many times we get together in small groups and we're beginning to talk. And that's a positive thing. Let's do that, men, wherever we are. 3 years.
Allow me to add this. When the man of God says, touch another man and say whatever, we laughed it off. I need you, but very few looked at each other in the eye. I need you, I need you, I need you, I need you. Because in everything, even in our vulnerability, we are still trying to hide. You understand?
Pole.
You know?
Pole.
Is there a person called Hudson here? Hudson. Just stand up. I was told about this gentleman, and I want us to appreciate him. I was just told when we came here that this guy walked from very far and got to the gate. That's you, right? And said, I have no money. I have gone through hell and high water. I just want to be around men to get strength. So let's appreciate that man. For me, that's what it's all about. If he had the ego, he would not have come. I think what he has picked today, 20 years from today, the world will be thanking him. But something was birthed in him today. So let's help. There's a young man who tweeted on the NTV tweet and said, I have no money. How can I get a ticket? And I told him, inbox me your number. And I felt in my spirit, he's not a funny guy. I sent him the money to buy the ticket. And he actually came outside and says, I am the one who you send money. So men, young, old alike, are looking for help. All we got to do as men who have been before them is when they knock, open the door. We know of the gentleman who committed suicide a few years ago, Mark. And this guy one morning told his wife, I don't feel like going to work. And the wife says, I'll see you in the evening. He tells the watchman, buy some milk. And they have tea. And tells the watchman, I don't want any visitors. Gentlemen. In the evening, the wife cooked, went to knock on the door. Now nobody was opening. They broke down the door. The man was lying dead in his bed with a suicide note. He committed suicide because of debt of 4 million shillings. Less than 48 hours later, A company that owed him 7 million transferred money to his account. All that man needed was fellow men to buy him 2 extra days. Don't shut your door from somebody. Open that door. It may be the reason he will be alive 2 days from today.
Any other gentlemen want to respond to the question that was directed at us from the first question? Or we could actually move on to the next one. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. Your name?
My name is Karan Waweru. I have a comment and a question. The comment is just to re-emphasize what the doctor said about us going for checkups regularly. Men, you are okay until you're not okay. I would want you to remember that. I have a relative who just got diagnosed with high blood pressure recently. And this is a relative that has been okay, that checks their diet. But I realize I could see some habits that the doctor talked about, like having very little sleep. You know, in the village, they take like it's a good thing to sleep very late. In Kikuyu, they say, "Konyi Hawaii." And then they wake up very early. It's like a crime again to sleep in the village. So some of these things that we do catch up with us later. That's my comment. This is the question, and any man of God in the panel can take it. In the church, sometimes we'll tell people it's good to pray, it's good to read the Bible, but without telling people exactly how to do it, nothing will change. And I've seen something changes when you tell them, for example, wake up in the morning, take a notebook, do A, B, C, D. You help people. But just telling them, read the Bible does not help. So this is my question. One of the pastors talked about vulnerability, and you said men to be vulnerable, that they need some people that they can confide in. Dr. Mungai talked about living deliberately. So I would want you to handle how can you be deliberate in the area of vulnerability? For example, is it me organizing a meeting with those men that I think I can confide in, and ensuring that the meeting happens and driving the agenda? How can you be deliberate in being vulnerable? Otherwise, you'll just have told us to be vulnerable, but you haven't told us how to go about it.
Real quick.
Question.
Go for it. Because quick fire right now. There's another gentleman, Pia Kule Usimwache.
Yeah, I think it's about, as we said, it's about being deliberate. And I think, some time back I was struggling with that question about, yes, people are saying you need to be more closer to God. As an example. And I also told you that, the most important thing in terms of you quantifying your wealth is your relationship or your spirituality, let me put it that way. And the question was always, how do you achieve that? And I think there's something that we call plan of life. And plan of life is where you have 5 things, and in relation to your question about, spirituality. What are these 5 things that I need to do and consistently do them on a daily basis? It could be about reading the gospel or your Bible. It could be you having, kind of a mental prayer, It could also be, I'm Catholic, I actually can tell you I have 16 things that I have to do in a day. And I must make sure that I do those things, otherwise then I'll not probably see heaven, and that's my goal. So to me, is having that protocol that you operate on. Now, when it comes to the question about vulnerability, yes, vulnerability you can discuss with people and you can let them know, of course, trusted people. But I think there's one thing that really is understated. There's something we call journaling. It's where you sit with your thoughts and you download your fears. You download all that is going through your mind. It could be the positive things, the negative things. And I tell you, if you create only 10, 15 minutes each day to try and figure out those issues are troubling you, where do you see your opportunities, where is it that you want to go, and you journal those things consistently for, say, 21 days, it will transform you. And there's no doubt about that. Of course, there is that of looking for the, we call them breakfast club boys, boys club. You need your people. And I totally agree with, that it's not always that you become vulnerable to them. So you have to choose the right people. And you must be the one championing that vulnerability. Because guess what? When we sit as men, we just want to talk about the good things. We don't want to talk about how I was battered by my wife last night. But if you take that courage and you encourage people, let's share, it is going to happen. Thank you.
Yes, Pastor Simon, go for it.
I think it's just an emphasis of the clear steps. Number one, identify the men you want to be vulnerable with. Men you trust, men you've known, and say, we want to be in this group. Number two, agree that this is going to be about vulnerability. After you identified, meet together and agree. By the way, this is not a group just to talk about mambo ya juju. We want to get deep because there must be understanding so that I don't share my things and you're wondering, why am I sharing? We actually agreed this is going to get deep. Thirdly, meet regularly. Meet regularly and catch up. If you're meeting once a week or twice a week, then the probability of, or once every 2 weeks, or of catching up in life, this is what happened to me this week and last week, then you'll find over time you grow such close that you're able to pick up your phone and call that person because you've walked together and you have gotten closer.
Anto, I believe there's another question right behind you, or there's a gentleman right there. Kuna moja pala usimwache. Real quick.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Tayo Pakunle, and thank you, panelists, for this discussion. I've really enjoyed it. So my question to you would be, what advice would you give to men aspiring to be fathers, and how has fatherhood transformed what it means to be a man?
Nameless.
I'll take this. The question before that was actually a very, very, very powerful question. Because if we really, really think about how we learn about life, someone will tell you, oh, let me ask a question. How many people, when you're growing up, kept being told, concentrate, concentrate, concentrate? How many people were told that by their parents? All of us, basically. Everyone was told to concentrate. I saw this somewhere where a guy said, how many were taught how to concentrate? That's when you begin to realize there's an issue between how someone teaches, right? And that's why I love the question there, because you'll be like, you'll say, be vulnerable, how? And the reason I'm talking about that, when the man asked about fatherhood and the things I learned from my children, I'll tell you, one thing I'll say is very important, that as you live your life, just know, every moment you're either a student of life or you're a teacher of life. Everyone. Everyone. Because there's someone who is going to be influenced by what you think. Now, if you're thinking the wrong way and you're a father, for example, maybe you have a problem in another tribe, and you tell your child that when they're too young, the high chance will begin to believe it and download it. So you realize that everyone has a big responsibility. I'll just answer one about a fatherhood, and I'll tell you why it was very powerful for me and how it's changing me. I kept telling one of my daughters, stand up for yourself, because she would come crying. So you what in the neighborhood, stand up for yourself. I kept saying that, and you could see she's struggling with that. Stand up for yourself. And I saw many years she's not being able to do that. Every time she would go to mommy to hug her and say, oh, what. And it was getting to me, because I'm like, I didn't know what, but I'm like, she needs to stand up for herself, right? I don't want her to keep relying on her parents to just affirm her. But I didn't know what was going on. At that point, I realized I was being a student of life, or being a student of being a good father. So one day when I saw her coming from one of the houses and coming crying again, I decided this time I'm going to stop her from going to mom, right? And I was like, don't go to mom. You have to find a way to stand up for yourself. And she tries, you can see she's like, what do I do? I told her, either you go to the house, try find a way to stand up for yourself, or go back to that house you're crying about and stand up for yourself. She went in the house. I think she tried to think. Then she came back. She's trying to go to the mom again. I stood up again, blocked. So she's like, what do I do here? And then she asked me a very profound question. She asked me, I want to stand. This, I've been asking her this, telling her for like 3-4 years. And she told me, I want to stand up for myself. This is my 9-year-old daughter. But she told me, I don't know how. Do you get the point there? Do you get it? All of a sudden it hit me that we're told things, but we're not told how. That's why I like the question just before that. Forgive, forgive. 7 times. Yo, the psychology behind forgiving is crazy. And people will think they're forgiving, but they're not forgiving. They're cheating themselves, they're forgiving. So, you're always going to realize that you don't know everything, and you have to try and learn correctly and also teach correctly. And every time you teach, every time you, even I love to mentor, because every time I'm trying to mentor, I have to think deeper about what am I going to say. Because if I say the wrong thing, it will influence the wrong way, right? If I don't learn properly, I'll take the wrong thing. The only reason there's tribalism, racism, all that is because a kid learned the wrong principle. The father taught the wrong principle, which he was taught by his father. So it's a job, once you take the job of fatherhood, it really begins to hit you that you are going to be a teacher of someone who is going to contribute to society. If you don't like anything that you see in society, because trust me, there are many things we complain about, then you begin to realize, wow, I have a kid. So now I really need to be a better student of life so that I understand the right principle. So you question and try to find out deeper. And then you must really dig deeper and keep checking how to teach. That's what I was telling you. It's not possible to try to go through life. It's like driving somewhere you don't know and you're trying to find the answer yourself. It's just not possible. So when guys are not going to ask people who they think are deep, people who know the mind, because the mind, psychology is crazy. You believe the wrong thing, you're messed for life, because that's what you'll be telling yourself. You need to find someone who is good at that, to question them, to make them understand. Some have been trained, that's what I'm saying, counselors, psychologists, therapists, whatever it is. Those are going to be your teachers when it comes to the mind. You have to find someone who understands it better than you. You know? You have to know that even your father is not perfect. He could transfer the wrong information to you. I'm telling you. It's hard to realize that people older than you are not necessarily know everything. And then you begin to realize, I don't know everything, so I can't just teach without confirming what I'm saying. That's why rumors spread, propaganda, because you tell me something, I don't even deeply question it, I just go with it. So for me, how I grew as a father, I realized, oh my God, it hit me more. I need to understand better. I need to be a better student of life. So I kept reading, researching, talking to people, so I'm better, and then transferring the right principle. Sometimes I'll make a mistake, and I grow from a mistake. So for me, I think that's how I've grown, and I don't know if you kind of understand that. We need to understand. You just be told something, don't just take it in. Ask deeper. I loved that. How? You tell me to be vulnerable. How? Then he's going to give an example. Then you start understanding the principle, and the guy who's telling you also starts understanding his principle deeper. So just remember the one thing, you're always either a student of life or a teacher of life in whatever you're going to be doing.
We have less than 10 minutes to wrap it up, and I know we'll be screening the next football game in the next few minutes, which starts at 7 o'clock. But there's a question there the gentleman in the half jacket has been asking, and another one. So straight question and one answer from the panel. Antonio Sol, the gentleman next to you.
Yes, sir.
Shoot the question, sir.
So thank you so much. And I want to pick from where Nameless stopped from. Nameless, you went same school with my uncle, who is doing something amazing stuff from Mombasa County. You did architecture. So yeye ndiye amekuwa chief architecture huko Mombasa County. I'm so proud of you. I have a lot of things to pick from you, and more so being a dad to daughters, rather girls. And we from men right now, sometimes life does not go the way we want life to go. Sometimes you find that sisi wanaume And since we're in this forum, let's not just come here and say, vitu zitakuwa hivi. At times you're going to have a beautiful wife in front of us, lakini ako na mtoto, na huo mtoto ni either kijana ama msichana. And that's the bone of contention, because shida imekuwa hapo for a very long time.
Kidogo naona huyu ni philosopher, sababu you need to decipher what he's saying. It's deep stuff. So just your question and then we wrap it up.
I was heading to say this.
Hapo sawa.
Yes, I was heading now to say this.
Gonga ndipo.
Burare pia, mimi masuti niko nazo. Nimeziona kwa huyu msi. Na ni leo tu nimevaa hivi. On Monday ukinipata, hata yeye Burare.
Swali ni.
My question is, for us guys, by the way, I'm asking this by a very odd question. You're here, you're not fostering, you're a father foster kama Yesu, baba Yesu. Maisha yako itakuwa namna gani? Because you want the best for this kid, the best of this, you know. Niko hapa ku replace raising kids.
Yes.
That you're not your own.
Right.
Na hiyo tu, lakini Burare, Kongole, Nameless, pia Omanyala, Seconds, pia tuko sawa pia.
Tumeipata
Hapo
hiyo.
sawa.
We see what you're saying, bro.
So Mark, the question is that they were not your seconds, but now you have to raise the results of those 3 seconds by Omanyala. What do you do?
Well, to answer your question, if I got you right, I'm a foster child, and I've grown up to where I'm at because someone was there to take my hand. And there are many ways that people can foster. So if you're one of those parents who's taken up another child who's not necessarily directly from you, kudos to you. You can do it. It's been done. Nothing wrong with it, and hats off to you. But umetoa vitu angles tofauti hapo na kini philosophical tunakusikia. Burale siwe pekee uko na suti.
Got 3 final questions. 3 final
really
questions.
Quick.
Yeah, so.
Thank you very much. My name is Bosire Bogonko, and thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, my name is Bosire Bogonko. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to pose this question to all the gentlemen. I've had a discussion, and the biggest thing that I've not picked up from any of the points you've made is about self. Self. For me, I think every man must, first of all, live for themselves. Why? Because if you are not happy with yourself, you cannot be able to transmit that happiness to the people around you. We cannot be living for other people because that negates the whole essence of you as a man living. And living is about me first. Why? Because if I love myself, it means I can be able to spread that love to other people. If I can't take care of myself, I cannot take care of my child, or my wife, or my mother. So I want any of you gentlemen to just talk about the issue that, first of all, I need to be able to be comfortable in my singleness, in my aloneness. Yes, thank you very much. In my aloneness. And therefore, by being comfortable in that space, I can be able to promulgate that love, that unity to the other people. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about this. Because for me, I'm a loner. Just talk about myself. I'm a loner. I love myself. So when I tell my child, I love you, the child can feel that love because I love myself. I know what love is. If I hate myself, the first course of action to the rest of the people who I don't know. Forget about my parents or my children or my brothers. For the people I don't know, will be hate. Because I know hate because I hate myself. I appreciate hate because I hate myself. So I want any of you gentlemen just to address that issue, because for me, I think as men, we need to start from the self first. Whatever we can be able to grow with ourselves, we can be able to push it on to the other community. Thank you very much.
I think every man will agree with me that you have already dealt with it. You have said it well, we have learned it. But the greatest thing a man can do for himself is understand his place of purpose. Because in your place of purpose, there's joy. Even when there's pain, as long as you're doing, like Mr. Omanyala here, I don't think sometimes he would enjoy the many hours in the gym. But because he knows it's in line with his purpose, he will go through it because he knows there's a purpose ahead. So if, as a man, you understand your place of purpose, when God puts you to sleep to remove the rib, it's your place of purpose. As men, we are supposed to give. Even when we are off air, right?
Yes, we are.
Even when you make love to your wife, you release. You are used to giving. And then you sleep after that. You know, so we are used to giving. We give direction. Reverend Bevi said somebody gave words, and today he's a lawyer. So in loving ourselves is being in the place of purpose. That's a sign of that you love yourself, that you know what you're supposed to do. Mr. Mark Masai is the host. He knows what he's supposed to do, and that's why this whole panel has gone well, this whole discussion. So you men, don't think that if you just sit and enjoy, then you're loving yourself. You may have all the money. You may have the affluence, the influence, but if you're not operating in your place of God-given purpose, you'll be the most unfulfilled man on the face of this earth.
Bosire, I hope that was fulfilling. Really quick, and then the two last questions.
I would just add, and thank you, I think that was well said. And that's part of self-care, getting to know your purpose. And I talked about the 3 years: acceptance, affection, and affirmation. That begins with you in self-care, that you accept yourself, you affirm yourself, and that you, what is the third one? You affirm, accept, and you give yourself love. So self-care is important, but then it's not an end in itself. As you rightly said, as you do that, you find yourself giving, because then it comes back to you. So well said.
All right, next question.
Second last question.
Second last.
Okay, good evening, gentlemen. So my name is Kenneth Mbabu Gitonga. I come all the way from Embu. Actually, nimefika tu sai. I thought you guys had winded up, but I'm happy to see you guys are here. Secondly, Robert, thank you. Not thank you. Congratulations for your win. I don't think anyone has congratulated you yet. This guy won Best Corporate MC. Ama msham congratulate. Bado. Okay. Robert. Yeah. So now on to my point. I know all of you are winners. Omanyala naona ukiniangalia vibaya. But Robert was the latest win. So yeah. Now to my point. So I come from a family of, for lack of a better word, not so successful men. My dad sort of wasted his life, and he was a doctor. He never did anything for himself. He's worked all his years. He was a career man. Miaka yake yote alikuwa a career man, but he never did anything for himself. So me in class 5, this guy just left. Akaenda na sijaimwona tena. My brother, the same. He was in a very good career. He was a banker. Akacheza hivi kidogo. He wasted himself. He's 40 years. He's already committed suicide twice. Tried suicide. Attempted. Thank you. Come on, guys. Really? Not now. Really. Not the time. Yeah, so I'm 26. I'm ambitious. I know many of you mkiulizwa nafanya kazi gani mtasema ni gani. Let me try this real quick. Anto, you're near. What do you think I am? Profession?
An accountant.
Sir.
You look like a teacher.
Last one. Last one.
You're a lawyer. You're a lawyer.
MC.
So, MC. You guys, you won't believe it, but I'm a hawker back at home. Yeah. I just know how to dress well, Robert. Thank you for the, yeah. Again, Robert. Yeah, so I'm a hawker. I sell cakes and flavored cookies. I didn't have the cash actually. I take care of my mom. Now that you know, my dad and my brother don't do anything. I'm the man at home. I was forced to get out of Nairobi, niende home ni tunze madhe. So she's sick, she has diabetes. I won't get into too much details. But I didn't have any cash. So Robert, pesa nimechelewa because I was hustling money for today. I hustled around, I think 4,500 in like 2 hours. And then nikilipa nini. Nimebaki na transport ya kurudi, lakini msinihurumia. I don't want pity. Yeah. So for a guy who everyone in the family is, for lack of a better word, a loser, and you're the one who's looking like you have ambition. You know, some of these things rub on you as men. Yeah, kitu inakurab to at the back of your mind subconsciously, you're like, kwani familia yetu nini mbaya, you know? Yeah, and then relatives wetu ni wa rich sana. I have a relative akona Range Rover, he has a BMW X6. You know, these guys are rich. Alafu our family ni kama the black sheep, eh? Yeah. They don't even know I exist. Walinijua nikiwa mdogo. So I think this one I'll address to Robert. Robert, I can see you on your phone. This is a bit serious. Yeah, so Robert, advise me. I know you've heard me. I know you've heard my story. For a family that every man is a loser and you're trying to use your knowledge to succeed into the world, how would you advise me? And then, I've done diploma in journalism. I've also done advertisements here and there. I've worked with some nice companies here and there. So you can see that I have that mentality, you know, the money mentality. Yeah, Robert, so kindly.
Thank you very much, and thank you for taking time to come. First and foremost, about journalism, I think you're in the best place. There are so many people you can talk to over here. An opportunity is here, you have to grab it. Time and chance happens to them all. And about the men in your family being rendered useless, if this story will help you, my grandfather had, I think, 16 wives. My grandmother was the first wife. All the men died, and before they died, they all divorced. When you come to a family, me, my big brother, did not divorce but died. My big sister did not divorce but died. My other sister is alive but has gone through divorce. I am alive but I've gone through divorce. My immediate follower did not marry but died. Our last born is alive but has gone through divorce. So you have to understand and look at the pattern. And then in your place of authority and purpose, you have to stand at the gates of your family and now declare some things, and stand at the gate and break some things in repentance, and stand there and start a new order in your family, because it is bloodline. You understand? When we had the story of former Moody Awori, His Excellency, I think when somebody was found guilty in their family, it was either 1 billion shillings fine or 57 years in prison. The story, I don't know how true it is, but I think it is, that they raised 1 billion in 28 minutes in their family WhatsApp group. If you look at your family WhatsApp group, what are you discussing? But then when I investigated further, his father in Canon Awori would walk around Busia with 2 things, a stick on one hand and a Bible in the other hand. When he finds kids out of school, he would beat them to go to school and then go to the marketplace, open the Bible, and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then he went into a covenant with God that as I have done this, may my family never lack. That's why you see Moody Awori, former vice president, his other brother, top politician in Uganda, a sister, former owner of Makini, their 3rd generation, the immediate former MD of Absa Bank. Now he is the MD of EcoBank, overlooking 36 countries. Now, if there's an Awori to be born 5 years from today, he's already richer than all of us. But somebody somewhere stood at the gates and started an order. Yeah. If you go to Kijabe, they don't sell alcohol or cigarettes. They don't have shops that sell alcohol. Why? Somebody stood at the gates of Kijabe and declared some things. And every man here has a responsibility. All of us, not that just gentlemen from Embu. All of us have a responsibility to stand at the gates of our family and declare some things, stop some things, block some things, and bring in, as you usher, a new order into your family. And sir, you coming here, I think you'll be around men. First and foremost, talk to these men of NTV. These are men, even if they don't give you a job, they will give you advice. that will take you to your next level in journalism. And there is no dishonor in being a hawker. It is just a step towards your place of purpose.
Great words from Brale.
Last question, and then we get the last remarks from the panel.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Marlon, and I'm grateful to be here. Mine necessarily is not a question. It's just a comment. And I'm grateful to Nation Media Group and Mark Masai for just allowing us to come here and fellowship together for this event called Man Cave. It is really inspiring. And what I just wanted to say is the ones that those gentlemen that are there on the panel, if you could just say, probably speak out to your mentorship programs, because probably some of us here have not even had part of your mentorship programs. And you know, I believe mentorship is a walking kind of stage. It's not just one-off, where we come here and we just speak and that's just it. It's something which we just need to work with each and every individual who is in here, right? So I feel probably if you could just mention a bit of your programs, and so that we probably can follow the people who want to follow, the ones who want to be educated, the ones who want to be mentored, the ones who want to get insights of what to do in this life and in their families, and to cater for them individually to go to where the place that they want to go and who they want to be. So it is just, for me, it's just a thank you. And let's continue with the same spirit, Mark. Continue making these forums, even not in these particular areas, different kind of areas where you can reach a lot of people necessarily so that they can get more educative and more everything.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I know there are other questions. We can't take them right now. I believe the panelists are not leaving immediately because some of them would also want to stick around for the game that we'll be showing in 5 minutes. I want to give them an opportunity to wrap it up. And I can't take credit for this. I'm just part of this movement, which I feel should be more often, more frequent, not just here in Nairobi, even to the counties, and not just annually, even quarterly, or even bi-monthly, if possible. And I'd like to appreciate the team, Clifford and the others, Phil, and even Bertha, a lady who was very critical in making this happen. A lot of effort went to this, and I appreciate them. And Phil will tell us better. I know there's a vote of thanks, but please, the panelists, your last word. I'll start with you, Dr. Pete.
Mark, before you end,
quick.
Also, in terms of final remarks, there's one of the things that a lot of men are asking. So I think each of the panelists can also give us an idea of where do we take Man Cave from here. How do we move this from just a conversation to, like Marlon said, a community? You know, I mean, even Philbert is, a lot of people are asking, so what, in your opinion, should we do after? Do we have a fund? Do we have a chama? How can we take this to a point where we now sustain the men who are here to also be able to stand where they cannot be able to stand?
All right. Let's start here with Dr. Pete Odera.
I think, thank you, gentlemen, for coming, for making the time. It's important for that, so I want to make it brief. I run a mentorship program. We're taking in young men, and we actually will take on women next year as well. Info@ixosinstitute.com. Info@ixosinstitute.com is where to go, and it'll be a blessing. I am available online as Dr. Pete on both Instagram and Facebook. You can find me there. To your question, I think that's something we need to think through and say what we want to do, because right now, this is the beginning. There seems to be some good momentum. If people are coming all the way from Embu and wherever, I think it is important for us to then come back. We'll talk again and then see what can we do and then put it out. I think it's not good to be in too much of a hurry, but I think it's good that we think through and say what can be the most effective way to really bring this. It's a big gathering. Some people work better in small gatherings. So maybe we need to think that through. Thanks.
All right, thank you. For me, it's just, gentlemen, sometimes it's good to appreciate. There are some ladies who are involved in this thing. Bertha has been really coordinating us. Let's appreciate those ladies led by Bertha. And may God just bless you. My final words to each and every man here is a song that I love. I love you and you love me. I pray for you, you pray for me. I will not hurt you with the words of my mouth because we are part of one family. God bless.
Platforms to help other men?
Oh, I do the Men of Valor and the Naked Truth. You get me on Burale1, Instagram Burale1, Facebook Israel Robert Burale. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be part of this. I've learned a lot as much as I was here in the panel, but I've learned so many things that I didn't know before. And my last words will be, never be afraid to take risks. Never be afraid to do something different, because maybe that something different that you're afraid to do is what will make your destiny come to light. So don't be that kind of a person who will follow what your family is saying, what your family wants you to do. Don't be that kind of a person who will follow what your peers want you to do. Do something different. For me, different made me who I am today. Thank you.
You know, carrying on from where Manyara left, I think mine is very simple. We are getting in 2023, and I want us to make 2023 to be an exceptional year. How do we go about that? Please make sure you set some fantastic goals. Yes, I'm talking about goals, but please note they must be big, hairy, audacious goals. Cut them into small pieces. And what are the small pieces? Remember, your hours, whatever you do in an hour, shapes your day shapes your week shapes your month, and your month shapes your year, and your year shapes your life. So it's about having that big dream, break it down into smaller pieces, and operate on it every day. If you want to find me, you can find me at edwardmungai.com. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Just want to say two things. Number one, it doesn't matter what team you support, never walk alone. Even the strongest one of us is weak by themselves. Even the strongest one of us, you're weak by yourself. So may this brotherhood continue. May we lift up each other. When you lift up others, you go up with them. When you push someone down, you go down with them. So let's be brothers who raise up each other. I just want to say to the gentleman from Embu, I've written a little book about breaking those generational patterns, and I'll give you a copy, Gideon's Action, how to break those bondages. And for the man who came and didn't have money to get in, I want to give you this little book I've written, The 5 Commitments of a Real Man. So come and get yourself a copy.
Good stuff.
You can find me at S. Mbevi. And Man Enough is there. You're welcome to join Man Enough. We have online and in person, and also other programs of Transform Nations that you can find in our socials. Thank you, and God bless you.
Let's give a moment for him to receive that gift. Asante sana, Pastor Simon Mbevi.
Pastor Simon, mnaweza face camera pale.
Camera over there.
Yeah. Good stuff.
There you go. No pressure, Nameless. Kama umekam na book unaweza peana.
Yo.
Ama hata blueprint ya how fulani umekuwa ukiweka hapo.
Yo, I'm writing a book, man.
We agreed that Nameless has to perform one song.
Hey.
Because I know it's not in the technical rider, but you can't walk in late and then you just leave us hanging. Sindio wanaume? You just perform one song.
DJ.
Coming home as we go home to our people.
So
thank you, Nameless.
All right, Manze. First and foremost, I just want to say I'm so honored to be here. My love language, as I keep saying, is sharing and hoping that we can keep growing. For me, any conversation that helps us grow, I just love being in that space. I've been with amazing men here. One thing for sure I'll just say is the fact that you're here means that you know there's something you want more that you want to know. That's very powerful. So all I'll say is, all the men, I'll just say this, for sure, we all have blind spots. It's to find what those blind spots are, because blind spots are what make you keep doing the wrong thing over and over again. One statement I'll just say, and I use that to just check myself. You're clever when you learn from your mistakes. You're wise when you learn from other people's mistakes. You're foolish when you keep making the same mistakes. So the point is to try and be more, to many things that you do wiser, some things cleverer, and every so often you'll do something foolish because of blind spots. So I just want us to give ourselves a hand for coming out here and to find out our blind spots. Thanks, man.
Awesome.
So as they leave stage, and Nameless will give us this, because there's something they need to watch. I'd ask the gentleman to just
we're gonna let's first take photos of them first when they're on stage. So we're gonna ask you guys to stand, and also as we do that, we have some gifts for you here from Big Flex. So kama mtu ajui kunyoa burale, you can help with grooming.
Dr. Peter anasema umesema photos mse.
Photos. Dr. Pete is just dissing me. By the way, Dr. Peter Odera is one of the best singers, male singers we ever had in this country. I don't know why we don't mention that enough. And thank you, Simon Bevy, for really being a father figure to a lot of us from Mavuno. So we're going to give you guys a kitu ya kunyoa hapo. And also, everyone in the crowd here, I can see we're already distributing them. You're all going to get a gift hamper courtesy of Big Flex. And
well done to Big Flex. Asante.
Asante sana. Please, round of applause for Big Flex, afadhali. And also we still have chocolates, we still have ice cream, we still have, I mean, there's so much to give away. So yeah, wacha wapige picha alafu, yes. A round of applause, please, for the inaugural teachers of the Man Cave 1. These are our teachers for the first Man Cave ever. And I know they've left a mark on all of us. Reminder to follow this conversation on social media is the hashtag It's a Man Affair. And also, please, if you have any ideas on how we can grow this brand, we can take it further, we will definitely be having, I believe Clifford will be having a number that we can join on WhatsApp, a community that we can be a part of. So let's watch something. And also for everyone who's going to stay on, we have a happy hour as we watch France versus Denmark. We're going to be doing that right here. Kuna happy hour. There's drinks on offer right here. So please make sure you also tune in for that. It's going to be great.
If we could start it again with the sound, because we need to hear what they're saying. Phil, as they sort to the sound.